Boom. 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 The homos are here. Boom. 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 The homos are here.
Beastly butt odor?
Beef.
If they're clean, alive, of age, and consensual. Damn, dude. Life hack. You might see me on Chatterbait whacking off to some hot of age chick. Bait whacking off to whacking off. Look at that white, juicy meat. Juicy meat. Juicy meat. Juicy meat. Look at that white, juicy meat. Look at that white, juicy meat. Leave my black boyfriend the fuck alone. 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 Leave my black boyfriend the fuck alone.
Get your sexy cheesy ass on there. Get your sexy cheesy ass on there. Alright, KFC. I see you.
Hey everybody. Guys, are you ready for more sightings goodness? I've been waiting for this. But got a new modem, I got a new router, and I still think everything's gonna fall apart about 8:45 to 9:30. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if it's any better. Alright guys. We got Sightings Season 2, Episode 19, Mass Abductions, Seizure-alert dogs, and Prophecies.
Tonight on Sightings.
This is going to be
As a group, we
awesome.
were abducted about 60 times.
Frightening first-hand stories of mass abductions by extraterrestrials. What are their sinister motives?
They do need our genes to propagate their own species.
Then,
That
dogs
guy's
that
genes?
possess amazing psychic abilities of
Oh,
predicting
no!
epileptic
Magic pup!
seizures. Their life-saving secrets tonight.
We're motorbacks at our age. And I think it's still going to fall apart. This is going to be the best sightings ever, guys.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. The number of people who report being abducted by aliens is growing
It's
at
like
an alarming
3.
rate. According to a recent Roper poll, 1 in every 50 Americans claims a UFO abduction experience. Well, now those individuals are being joined by groups of people
I like
who
the
claim
suit
they've
today,
been
guys.
abducted together. These mass abductions are challenging skeptics who believe the abduction phenomenon is all a hoax.
In the course of 4
No,
years,
it's real.
as
Would
a
that guy ever lie to you? This guy would never lie to anybody.
group, we were abducted about 60 times or so.
In my
Whoa,
experience,
just like the
I
movie.
believe that mass abductions are occurring far more than people realize.
A whole room full of people are simultaneously
I don't trust
taken
that
and
guy at all.
simultaneously in the craft put together with one another.
James LaFonte and a group of his
Can we see that again?
That mass abductions are occurring far more than people realize.
A whole room full of people are simultaneously taken and simultaneously in the craft put together with one
We
another.
got to see that again.
James LaFonte.
Sassy boy, sassy boy.
Guys, we got a sassy boy.
Sassy boy, sassy boy.
If that ain't a sassy boy, I don't know what is.
And a group of his close friends claim to be victims of a mass
You're a
abduction.
10-year expert on getting probed. I
Their
knew it.
abduction histories all began in childhood.
Ever since I was a child, I used to wake up and I used to see white light and shadowy figures moving around my bed,
Because you're a sassy boy.
and I would get scared.
When I was younger,
Wonderful
Happy day!
listen, I'm a 10-year expert on getting probed.
All right, well, I will refer to you when I have any probing
Like an alien
questions.
looking through the windows, being watched, a feeling of being watched all the time.
That was your uncle, dude.
I guess I can call them as like the
Checking
shadow
out them
people,
butt
'cause,
cheeks.
They used to come out of the shadows, and like the shadows would kind of come alive. And
Why are they all sassy boys? That's clearly a sassy boy.
they'd be these little small guys?
In his mid-20s, LaFonte felt strangely compelled to seek out certain people and befriend
Just
them.
cool dudes having
As these
fun.
home videos show, the group often went camping in upstate New York.
We would go up each weekend to upstate in Saugerties, and we were just going up for fun. But as it turns out, week by week, we were all being abducted as a group.
And looking back at it now, I
Come
realized
on.
that I had knew all these people.
You know, they were sitting all drunk by a campfire, like, yeah, dude, we'll just tell everyone the same story. We'll get our story down. And
From
we'll get
childhood
so booked.
abductions, and that I was supposed to get everybody together and go up to the trailer to be abducted.
Noted ufologist Bud Hopkins met with LaFonte and used hypnosis to help him recall abduction memories.
I feel like
Hypnosis.
on the table. They have big eyes, and the skin looks molded. I gotta get out of here.
James LaFonte contacted me in 1990 because
think I have
of
it.
certain fragmented memories. He'd been with a group of friends.
let me
and,
let the lady read it.
They knew something had happened. There was a time lapse. And subsequently, they began to have
Just cool dudes hanging around the campfire, guys.
partial recollections of this experience. And part of those recollections involved having been in a craft, unable to move, being controlled, and being placed, some of them with others, in some kind of sexual situation.
I first met James in
Yeah, she got a train ran on her. She definitely got a train ran on her.
87, and a few friends of us, we all went upstate to the trailer. Just have a nice weekend and enjoy ourselves and have fun.
We had a typical.
Why is the
hangout,
lady
everybody
reading this?
Getting close together, talking, doing a little music together, and then
The next morning, everybody recalled something happened.
Going up weekly almost became an addiction.
What year was this? Why does you guys look so fruity?
It was for enjoyment, but it was
I
almost
guess
like
in
we were being
93.
called back.
More members of the group agreed to participate in regression
Well, they're all
therapy.
cool. Look at this.
Under
Look
hypnosis,
at the fun
they
they're having.
recalled being part of a mass abduction.
And one time in the trailer, it was around 12 o'clock.
Yeah, wait,
or
I'm
1
waiting for the
o'clock,
lady to
and
read
I
it, then
remember
to
seeing
release
these
the
bright
leaked
lights
audio.
almost in every window, and there's domes on top of the trailer.
There's domes?
And everything was blowing, and you just become basically paralyzed. During the abduction, we would
I guess that
walk
lady
down
ain't gonna
this
read for some fucked up.
Wonderful, happy day!
Can you play the leaked audio of the probing alien, please?
I believe I have it. Now, guys, you might have to take this with a grain of salt. It's allegedly the audio of an alien abduction. All right. Now listen carefully. This is apparently a probing incident involving aliens. You could tell it's an alien by the cheeks clapping. Right there. You hear cheeks clapping?
Dark road.
That's definitely
in a trance
aliens.
state.
Mostly everybody was like semi-conscious. I would see us, like all of us, walking down the road, night garments, and sometimes it
Why would the aliens abduct the most lamest motherfuckers?
Could walk us there, and sometimes we would be walking.
If I was an alien, as soon as I saw that acoustic guitar, I'm like, next!
We'd be walking to the craft, which
Is there anything worse than when someone who pulls out an acoustic guitar? No, the night's ruined. As soon as that acoustic guitar gets pulled out, night ruined.
In this pit area.
We would just walk into the ship. We would see the ship in the pit. James would be the last one to go inside the ship.
When the nightmarish memories persisted, Lafonte and others in his group sought help from clinical psychologist Dr. John Bowman.
Generally, when I work with people using their imagination, there's a personalized stamp that people put into their imagery because it's being generated from
that guy's
part
probably
of
dead.
themselves. These abductees,
everyone in this video is dead,
and their reports do not have this kind of personalized stamp, and I think it makes it even more credible.
Once this group is on the ship, they do remember being abducted together. They do see each other physically being examined by their abductors.
James and Kurt saw me on the ship with them and a few other people.
That guy, when he's not talking about aliens, he does Joe Pesci impersonations at open mic night.
That were upstate that weekend with us.
They would take us into the room and start doing some of the medical experiments. And sometimes there would be 2 or 3 of us in the same room.
And something was being worked on my genitals.
What?
2 or 3 of us in the same room.
And something was being worked on my genitals.
They were working on your pecker?
I would see James across the room, and the same thing being done to him. I do know his sperm was removed.
I've experienced certain things like that. I was with an alien that wasn't totally at will. It's hard to explain, first, it looks like a person, and then it becomes an alien while the process is going on.
Rows and rows of naked people.
Well, whatever happened to all these people? They sure did disappear. They were gone by 96, 97. You never heard of any of these assholes then.
Standing, motioning them here and there, directing them through some kind of process.
When I was on the ship,
would that make you gay? It's a serious question.
I remember seeing James and Petra, and then I remember being with the other people from the group.
Yeah, really, no
There's
consent.
a very great interest on the part of the UFO occupants in human reproduction, sperm, ova, the DNA, but it has also included an interest in human sexuality itself.
I do know that they do need our genes to propagate their own species.
Yeah, but yours? But yours?
It's not uncommon here in mass abduction cases that individuals, members of the group, are forced to have sex amongst themselves or with
You could jump in.
Sometimes we'd be abducted and there would be sexual situations that would pair off. Some of
Basically, they just got that one girl drunk and ran a train on her. It was aliens. No, it wasn't rape. It was aliens. Yeah. The rape kit says it's all you guys. Yeah, but it's because the aliens took our samples. Oh, okay.
within our
Are we
group.
going camping again next week?
Of us with other groups
Yeah, sure.
of people. It was just like a random
I
thing.
just hope
Each
the
week
aliens don't
maybe it
show
would be
up.
a different person.
It could be other people's wives, other people's husbands, different friends that we were with, and
I like
just
the best.
experiencing different
The best
sexual,
is nice.
Situations with them.
It's a recurring theme that we hear from a lot of abductees, especially in mass abduction situations.
Yeah,
they're
right.
studying us,
Get
they're
a
studying
life,
our
aliens.
sexuality, our emotions, and they're using us for some design goal as the center of this experiment.
This is across all cultural, socioeconomic
Yeah, okay. That's why only America has these stupid stories.
levels.
You might get some weird story from England about some like multicolored robot running around the woods once in a while, but you never get these stupid fucking.
This
You
is
never get these stupid
extraordinarily
alien
widespread.
abduction
It is
stories.
global in nature, and it is probably the
Did you ever
most
hear that English story about like these kids who found some like weird looking robot?
central hidden mental health issue in the country today.
In working with abductees, James's group, as well as other abductees, my experience is that these people have been traumatized by a very real and present experience in their lives. Their psychological
smack for the aliens.
profiles indicate that this was a real traumatic experience. It wasn't made up, it wasn't imagined, and that something actually did occur to traumatize these people.
I lost plenty of jobs.
Yeah, right. Except for black, I never heard of a black person getting abducted.
I lost friends, I lost family, I lost a number of things, and it got to the point where I would, I was
I'd settle for a Chinaman at this point. You never see a Chinaman getting abducted.
contemplating suicide in a sense because there was no escape.
I believe the abductions are exploitive for
life crew.
mankind and are not beneficial to these individuals. If the abductions were beneficial, they wouldn't be
Mexicans do?
suffering as they are.
It's not something that we
I
come
never
out
heard
and tell
it.
you
Well,
because
besides that, there was that one Mexican alien guy.
want to be on television.
It's only that guy, though. I hate that
A lot
guy.
of people think that, that we get more ridicule from it. It's a joke.
There is undoubtedly an extraordinary phenomenon at work here. It is irresponsible to
He
dismiss
was
it.
abducted.
An extraordinary phenomenon such as this demands an extraordinary investigation.
It's such my egg
We're a
roll.
good group. Our friendship is strong. I just hope that we'll understand what's going on at some time, and that we will understand why it's being done to us, and that in the long run that it.
Well, just be
it's all
quiet,
for
Lee.
good
You just
cause.
don't want to. You just don't want to admit the truth.
Joining us now is one of the foremost authorities on
Hanford?
the alien abduction phenomenon, Temple
Jumpin' Jeff?
University professor David Jacobs. Dr. Jacobs is the author of Secret Life, first-hand accounts of UFO abductions, and has been a UFO researcher for 25 years. Dr. Jacobs, for years...
That guy. Hold on. I think we got a candidate here. Maybe not. I thought we did. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on anything.
Years and years, you have studied the abduction phenomenon. The idea of multiple abductions, is this something new?
No, multiple abductions have been around since the very beginning. In fact, the very first abduction that came to
Stupid
public
Betty and Barney Hill.
attention, the Barney and Betty Hill case, was a multiple abduction. What we see every once in a while...
Another horseshit. Well, that's a black person that was abducted. Barney Hill. The first one.
is large-scale abductions of 6, 7, 8 people, even more sometimes.
Is it true that people only recall their abduction experience, multiple or
spooky,
otherwise,
delicious. You gotta be
under
careful.
hypnosis, and therefore they might be influenced by their therapist?
Most of the accounts are recalled under hypnosis. However, a significant number of them are remembered just straight out without any aid of hypnosis at all. However, we found that handled carefully and with proper knowledge of the
They're all
phenomenon,
CIA.
hypnosis is an important tool that we use to sort
This whole show is dedicated to distraction nonsense.
of release the memories that are there.
Think about aliens, not us raping your future. Think about stupid shit like aliens and ghosts.
You are a respected university professor, and for most people, this is just beyond the pale.
Don't think about us sending your tax dollars to Israel.
How are you involved in this?
Well, you're right, Tim. This is absolutely as far out as one can get in this
That's what they wanted to
society.
know.
Yet I feel that this is, even though that this is on the edges of credibility, that We must study this, that this is potentially extremely important and potentially impactful on all people, and therefore we can't ignore it.
Does it seem that some individuals are targeted for abduction and others are not? And is there any way to know if you are?
Well, people who have had abduction experiences generally have them from childhood on, all the way through old age, and we don't know how it stops. Most people who are abductees know that there's been a series of unusual experiences that have happened
alive,
to them
that
in their
bastard?
lifetime. They don't know what's
whole life, 81 years, spilling horse shit, spewing horse shit.
happened to them necessarily, but they know something has been going on that other people don't have. And most of those kinds of people, we feel, have had abduction experiences, or at least many of those people have had abduction experiences.
Have you been abducted?
I have not been abducted. From what
no, we think I'm retarded. That shit ain't real.
About the abduction phenomenon, I have no desire to be abducted.
Dr. Jacobs, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
And we will be back with more sightings in just a moment.
When we return, dogs that possess amazing psychic abilities of predicting epileptic seizures. What is the secret of their life-saving powers?
All these dogs
Their
are dead.
story coming up next.
One of the last great frontiers left to explore is the human mind. With all of the advances of modern medicine, we still know
Let me
surprisingly
spoil that for you, dude. There's nothing up there.
little about the potential of the brain. One way scientists are trying to learn more is by studying our pets. Animals appear to have
You gotta do
certain
something about that hair.
psychic powers that no one can fully
Psychic
explain.
power puppums?
Pets could be helping here, helping people with epilepsy. It's a condition characterized by frightening, uncontrollable seizures. In the Dark Ages, epilepsy was thought to be the work of the devil. Today, we've abandoned those outdated ideas that people with epilepsy are under satanic influence. But there are genuine mysteries associated with epilepsy, and medical experts are turning to...
Now people just walk around with those dogs and use them as an excuse to yell at people. Don't look at my dog! I need it. No, you cannot pet my dog.
Dogs for some amazing new ways of understanding this misunderstood neurological
Those people
condition.
are the biggest assholes.
Angie Barnum knows the incredible supernatural power of a seizure-alert dog firsthand. For the last 10 years, Angie's dog Sheba has been warning her of potentially life-threatening seizures before they happen.
She paces and whines and jumps on me if I'm not paying attention. She's constant.
Poor little guy.
She always knows.
Angie's seizures were so unpredictable, she was confined to a wheelchair.
I have fibromyalgia.
In 1983,
Don't touch
she
my fibromyalgia dog.
out a program that was matching dogs with disabled owners. At first, Angie was trapped into a Labrador, but Sheba proved she could do more than just fetch.
Angie went into a seizure. And the lab just ignored her. And she
That lady has been to every Air Supply show. If there's Air Supply playing, she's going.
keyed into it. Completely ignored me. She went straight to Angie, and we stood around in fascination watching this dog fixated
you might think you're cool.
Angie
shit.
adopted Sheba, and the two became inseparable. Angie discovered that Sheba's special gift wasn't just an isolated event.
I was out playing with my friends.
Yeah, but when are you gonna get the blue helmet? You need the blue
She
helmet.
started pacing and whining, and I thought she was just acting up, and I went home.
She might chomp on that shit.
A few minutes later, I had a seizure. Come here, Sheeps.
Sheba was so accurate in predicting seizures in advance that Angie gained enough confidence to leave her wheelchair behind and compete in gymnastics with Sheba at her side.
She
what
lets me
attention
know
whore.
before I have a seizure, so I can get down off the equipment. With her, I can know I'm going to have
Do a
one,
backflip,
and I
Bill.
can get down before I hurt myself.
In 1987, Angie won a gold medal in the Special Olympics. And
That was the easiest competition of my life. I just did 3 somersaults and I won.
she gives a lot of the credit to Sheba's extraordinary ability. But Sheba is not
I
unique,
was not brag about winning the Special Olympic.
according to Rina Berner of the Epilepsy Institute.
We had people calling up all the time saying,
She praises
I know you're
the
going
dog
to think
for
I'm
days.
nuts because they didn't know who they were talking to, but this is what my dog does.
One of those reluctant callers was veterinarian Liz Rudy, who has had seizures for 10
Liz.
years. Liz noticed that before her seizures, her dog Ribbon would stare and lick her hands.
I didn't really tell anybody or talk about it because it seemed too strange to be believable.
But Ribbon alerted
Liz.
consistently for 9 years. Before Ribbon died, Liz got a new puppy named Raisin.
I got her to see whether she could pick up this
Your name
behavior
sucked.
from Ribbon. I didn't think it was something that was real likely, but I thought it would be interesting to see if one dog could do it.
Macaroni and hot
Reason
dogs
turned out to
Sign
have
me
the
up.
same uncanny ability. Early on, she saved Liz from a potentially fatal situation, alerting her to an oncoming seizure while Liz was in the shower.
I was scrubbing my snout, and then the dog
While
wouldn't
we
shut
were
up.
recording this story, Sightings crew members noticed Raisin was paying particular attention to Liz. Then it started.
Oh,
First,
no.
the intense stare. Then Ribbon tried to get Liz's attention. And finally, the barking started.
Shaky Pete time.
Liz's seizures aren't violent. Instead, she seems to slip away from the world around her.
Wow. Oh, so in other words, horse shit. No, a seizure isn't just sitting there. Get out of here.
Ribbon instinctively stays by her side,
Yeah, okay.
protecting her
Horse
for the
shit.
duration of the episode. Does Ribbon have a unique ability to detect seizures, or is Liz
Yeah, exactly. That dog just wants to Roger that bitch.
somehow giving off subtle clues about her condition?
When you have a phenomenon like this and you want to do a scientific investigation, the first thing to try to determine is whether, in fact, the phenomenon is bona fide
I
or
hope they
not.
paid you for this.
Neurologist Dr. Douglas LeBar assists the Epilepsy Institute in their study of dogs like Ribbon. Liz is a participant in this research. Here, she's hooked up to a brainwave monitor that can detect the onset of a seizure.
Wonderful happy day!
We all know she's a very naughty girl.
Sure is.
Based on a survey sent out to pet owners who do have seizures. A substantial portion are reporting some type of
Tim, why is that your
behavior.
door? Careful.
Some experts speculate
He knows
that
kung
dogs
fu.
are detecting seizures through their acute sense of smell or by their acute awareness of certain body movements in their owners. But then why is it that only certain dogs seem to have the ability to detect seizures? Animal behaviorist Peter Borschel is studying the phenomenon.
If we can learn
So it's like, stop petting
what
me,
the
you
dogs
fuck.
are capable of doing, how they can pick up the pre-seizure signals, then we can have a way
This
of
is a terrible
screening dogs,
episode.
trying to find out if there's a breed difference.
When does this show
picking
get good?
dogs that are good at it versus those that are.
I know I say this every time, but I remember this show being decent. This shit sucked.
Where's Jesse?
We gotta get to the
Jessica
bad.
Lindgren has up to 5 seizures each week. Her mother
5
Leslie
a
is
week?
working with their dog Trina, training her to help Jessica during her seizures.
Perpetual energy.
I
guy.
think it's wonderfully important that the researchers and the neurologists can open their minds to something beyond just the medication, just the office visits, just the tests.
Leslie. I mean, I don't mean to shit on you, but what would you call that haircut? Her head looks like a wiener. Leslie, I don't like it. Stop it, Leslie.
Open their minds to something beyond
That
just
looks
the
terrible.
medication, just the office visits, just the tests. I think it's great.
Jessica doesn't
Light
need
Bright, I remember
science to
those.
explain why her dog is special.
I go like this. And then
And you have to get the kid the same tarted haircut?
licks my face like this. And then
Like that?
that's her way of saying, it's okay, Jessica.
Is there a paranormal connection
The
between
Dorothy
some
animal.
dogs and their owners with
The
epilepsy?
terrible haircut.
Medical doctors
The
would
patty
say no,
pan?
but there's still
I don't like it.
a loss to explain why.
I call it the peckerhead.
It is a mystery that science can't explain, but researchers continue to study the phenomenon, working toward a more complete understanding of the strange and wonderful connection between
When's the last
people.
time? When's the last time you guys saw the Dorothy Hamill? That's like a million years ago. Oh shit! Oh Whitney! Oh Whitney!
I love this episode. I coomed 6 times so far. Have a wonderful happy day.
Whitney, you're a degenerate.
And animals.
How dare you?
One
I
of the
wonder what Whitney is doing right now.
Tragedies experienced by
Thank you.
people with epilepsy is isolation from a general public that fears the onset of a seizure. One of the greatest benefits of seizure-alert
Pepper the
dogs like
patty
Sheeta
cut.
and Raisin is their ability to bring their owners out into the community. They can hold jobs and enjoy life with a new confidence.
Wasn't Dorothy Hamill like an ice skater or something? What was she famous for?
When we return, the terrorist attack on New York's World Trade Center was predicted by a Sightings
shit.
astrologer. Will there be other attacks on U.S. cities? A special report.
So weird that was so long ago. I swear I remember that like yesterday.
Next.
At the beginning of 1993, we asked a panel of experts in astrology and psychic phenomena to make their predictions for the coming year.
She looks really old now, doesn't she, though, Bridget the Midget?
One of our experts, astrologer Richard Nolly, has been remarkably accurate so far. He predicted the terrorist bombing at the World Trade Center in New York. Prediction became reality on February 26th.
And I remember this like it was yesterday. Do you remember the HBO movie that came out about this?
1993. In an interview taped in November 1992, Richard Nolly predicted a terrorist attack in February.
It's going to be more a terrorist kind of situation, but it's going to go beyond the terrorism that we've seen in the past.
Stabbed him in the knees.
I think people who live in major cities in the United States, in Japan, and in Europe are going to be targets for this kind of activity, especially around approximately February 2 and also in August and early October.
But like she looks like a granny mom now. I mean, I know she's a midget. And midgets have a short shelf life.
October of 1993.
Wonderful happy
February prediction, although off by a few weeks, did have an eerie ring of truth. We went to Nolly's home in Phoenix to get his reaction.
The alignment of the planets Uranus and Neptune was the big cosmic clue to me. Also, given the current tensions in the Middle East, I'd expected that this would manifest as a terrorist attack directed against the United States.
There are currently 2 suspects in custody.
I never miss
but
a
Nolly
chance.
believes they are just the tip of the iceberg.
There's no doubt in my mind that Baghdad was behind it, specifically Saddam Hussein.
See, they were peddling this shit back then.
As a terrorist attack directed against the United States.
There are currently 2 suspects in custody, but Nolly believes they are just the tip of the iceberg.
There's no doubt in my mind that Baghdad was behind it, specifically Saddam Hussein.
They were trying to blame Saddam Hussein back then. So funny. Iraq had absolutely nothing to do with that shit.
The planet Mars, which was rising in the east when
okay, the planet Mars and
bomb went off at the Trade Center, was directly overhead Baghdad at that very instant.
What? Oh, okay, I believe that then.
I'm sure we're in danger of more terrorist attacks. The same alignment that was in effect in February will be exact again in August and in October.
They were peddling that horse shit back in 1993, guys. Almost 10 years before the World Trade Center went down.
The target areas, as I see it, pretty much in descending order, would be New York was number 1 on my list from the start. It's already been hit. It may be hit again. Washington, D.C. would be 2nd. Los Angeles would be 3rd. Atlanta would be 4th.
All right, so almost none of these. Well, I mean, Washington. You got New York and Washington.
And Chicago would be the 5th. 1993 is going to be the year of terrorism in the United States.
Well, you're wrong about that.
After that, it's going to fade away.
The prospect of further terrorist attacks is a frightening possibility predicted by Nolly. What other disasters lie ahead? Sightings viewers have requested more information about what to expect later in the year. We are currently in the midst of a new investigation on
wonderful happy day.
Happy 4th weekend, Richie. Have you spread your cheeks for Israel?
It's all about Israel. It's always about Israel, first place.
Gordon Michael Scallion.
I don't know if I spread my cheeks.
Disturbing visions of the future.
I can tell you.
I mean, is it ever appropriate to spread your cheeks?
Earth is going to open up in California, and I can tell you exactly where it will open up.
What is the basis for these dire predictions? We'll bring you the disturbing answers in an upcoming report.
Too bad they missed
If you've
Chicago.
experienced what you believe to be a ghost, or if you've had any type of paranormal encounter, our Sightings investigative team wants to know about it.
If you've had a paranormal experience or captured something unexplainable
Los Angeles now, too. That place is a hellhole.
Film or videotape, call our Sightings hotline at 1-900-740-SIGHT. Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older.
Is Alcatraz haunted? Infrared cameras record
No,
a
we
psychic
did
search for
this.
prisoners who died there.
There are at least 100 ghosts here.
No, we are not watching that.
Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained.
Get the hell out of here. You saw a ghost?
Tonight on Sightings.
It was not a natural phenomenon.
That guy's telling the truth. I can tell.
Some sort of a manned craft.
We investigate a frightening UFO encounter that may have become a government cover-up. Then, in a Sightings exclusive, have we captured Bigfoot on videotape?
This is the most compelling evidence.
Oh yeah, I
today
saw that card game.
There is a Sasquatch.
I hate that stupid guy, that psychic guy. The last episode. Oh no! Oh shit. I want ghosts. There's not enough ghosts.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. If there really have been UFO landings in the United States, why isn't there any hard evidence? Why haven't UFOs
Hey, that's a good question, Tim.
appeared on radar? Ufologists answer that our government has purposely and systematically suppressed information about alien spacecraft.
Oh, really?
And they point to an astonishing case.
Ufologists sound a lot like those fake Navy SEAL guys. Well, you see, they cleaned my records. Yeah, I killed everybody. But and I took 7 bullets to the face. But it's not on my records. It sucks. I can't even get health insurance.
On a U.S. military base in Great Britain. For nearly 50
I do have
years,
the upscaler
UFO
thing
researchers have maintained that the U.S. government has systematically withheld information.
That's because this is old and looks like shit.
About encounters with aliens. Such contact may have occurred
Yeah,
in
right?
Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. The U.S. government says it never happened. Some believe that alien technology is currently being tested in the notorious and top secret Area 51.
I like to think the government, the only time they ever told the truth is when they said UFO shit is bullshit. That's the only time they weren't lying.
In the Nevada desert. The U.S. government refuses to comment.
For 3 days?
But under the authority of the Freedom of Information Act, previously classified
They didn't scrub your records too, did they?
Released. They shed light on what may have been an intentional U.S. government cover-up of UFO contact occurring in England in 1980.
Well, Kay is a reptilian. That's real.
The 81st Tactical Fighter Wing of the U.S. Air Force was located 60 miles northeast of London.
Oh,
between the towns
finally
of
an England
Bentwaters
alien
and
story.
Woodbridge. It was here on December 26th.
Let me guess. It was on an American base or something.
1980, members of base security claimed to have witnessed one of the most bizarre events.
Do we get real limeys?
The whole thing was weird. It just didn't seem right.
That's not a limey. That says lying asswipe American.
Airman First Class John Burroughs and his partner were on a routine patrol around the base perimeter when they spotted unusual activity in the nearby woods.
My partner initially saw some strange lights, so we went ahead and looked at each other and we decided we better kind of see what's going on because it didn't seem normal.
At the very same moment, the control tower at London's Heathrow Airport reported the sudden appearance of several unidentified flying objects on radar.
I think if we would have been armed, we might have been fired on it. I mean, it really, there was whatever it was.
Okay, dude. What any English guys see this?
I was going to bed and through the side windows here.
There's one.
I saw these lights.
Local resident Jerry Harris was one of a handful of civilians who reported strange phenomena that
Jerry
night.
Harris is the local
recalls
drunk.
the encounter.
Well, they moved sort of sideways. This way, and then they'd go down and they'd come back up again. Most peculiar.
The next morning, British police investigated the area around the alleged site.
But they just ran back and forth while the aliens hid behind rocks. And some naked lady came running back and forth for no reason. While Yakety Sax
found
played.
3 circular impressions in the ground, exactly 12 feet apart, forming a perfect equilateral triangle. The surrounding trees had been damaged.
It looked like something had landed there.
Now that's some sweet hair. That's a cool looking dude.
Came straight down through the trees
Big
and
accent.
rested long enough to leave 3-4 inch indentations in the ground.
I was kind of hoping we'd go out there and we wouldn't find anything.
I'm just saying YouTube has kind of burnt everyone out, I think, on the English accent. People used to like it. Now it's like, God, get away from me. Fucking, how many of you guys are on YouTube?
Explain it. It bothers you.
The next night, strange lights were reported again. Deputy Base Commander Colonel Charles Holt quickly assembled a special investigative team to search the woods.
Lights were observed moving in geometric patterns, mainly in
so
squares.
you can only get one English
traveling
guy.
at right angles. They'd go for a set distance and then do a sharp left or right bank.
Well, is it were they the nice English accents? You know what I mean? Or is it like the rough, like, bar slob accent?
And his team not only witnessed the light phenomenon, but they were also able to document their sightings on film and audio tape. Listen to part of Halt's recording at the scene.
Here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now.
The rough cutter pub accent.
What appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. It's unreal. 330, 0330.
Oh shit, guys, proof.
Still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around, heading back toward the base.
Indian accent's rough.
Distance, you could see lights flying around, and you could see like a stream of white light that came down to the ground.
Soon after that initial sighting, another strange UFO appeared to the airmen, a single red hovering light.
We followed it for quite a distance, 2-3 miles. All the time it stayed just a bit ahead of us.
Then the most extraordinary event of the night occurred.
It looked like a shaft of light came down from the sky.
Oh, no!
It was momentary, couldn't have lasted more than 5 seconds.
Probably just the English fucking with you guys. Put the spotlight on these idiots.
But I observed it, Colonel Halt observed it, and the 2 other individuals with us observed it.
It was like, it hurt your eyes almost. It was so bright.
Because of this inexplicable encounter, a special unit
Giant
from
dong?
European headquarters was dispatched to Bentwaters to take over the investigation.
Get out of here,
We were
idiot.
told that whatever we saw out there from then on, we were not to call in on the radio or report in, that people were aware of that something had happened or something could still be going on.
You know, there's like 5 English guys, some old dudes at this point, just laughing about this story to this day.
Confiscated all physical evidence of the encounter.
They're still laughing about
including
it.
Colonel Halt's tape recordings, films, and memos.
K and Delph.
All of that material was gathered up. It was considered technical intelligence. Therefore, it went to Ramstein Air Force Base.
Now retired from Army intelligence, Clifford Stone was stationed in Hanau, West Germany at the time of the Bentwaters investigation. According to Stone, news about the UFO landing spread like wildfire.
I know that they considered that craft to be under intelligent control, and they did not
I don't
consider
trust that guy. That guy looks like a wiener.
With so many credible witnesses, there's little doubt that something anomalous occurred that night.
Delph is 100%
But what
schizophrenic at this
There was
point.
no doubt it was an unidentified flying object, which is what a UFO is. The blue lights that we saw and what they were capable of doing could lead you to believe possibly
Are we almost at season
they were
3?
intelligent.
It was not a natural phenomenon. It was some sort of a manned or unmanned
You know that guy's got some kind of watch list.
craft. And it was being controlled by someone.
Despite so much eyewitness testimony, skeptics maintain the encounter was not the result of otherworldly phenomena.
Let's say that this wasn't a UFO incident.
someone threw water on Delph after midnight.
What is it that can cause highly trained Air Force security policemen who are armed to the teeth with automatic weapons, grenade launchers, pistols? What can cause them to run away from a light in the woods?
Chuck DeCarroll was a Defense Department correspondent for CNN who traveled to England to research the Bentwaters incident. He's heard many explanations for the strange lights.
This was an important base. It had a nuclear weapons storage dump. If these guys were hallucinating, as some debunkers have claimed, what were they doing guarding those self-same nuclear weapons the next day and the next week?
Yeah.
Others have speculated that the UFO was a top-secret U.S. military aircraft used to
In
test
England?
the responses of base security forces.
Why in England?
We exercised on a regular basis through every possible contingency at the ground troops.
That doesn't make any
and
sense.
There was no need for the Air Force to come up with something extra.
There is another possibility involving technology known as psychotronic or radio frequency weapons.
Oh yeah.
There are those
yeah, this shit that's why you can't beat up on like people who believe this shit back in the day too much. There was nowhere to look it up and have someone say that guy was full of shit.
Experts in the area of radio frequency weapons.
All people
who
knew is what
say
was on TV.
that RF energy can be delivered in such a form as to have an effect on human psychology or physiology.
Sightings of unexplained lights identical to those reported
Beyond
in
the ice wall.
Bentwaters had also been reported in the former Soviet Union. Experts suggest these reports may be the result of experiments using similar weaponry. Unfortunately, none of these theories can be fully explored because the U.S. Air Force has refused to acknowledge that any encounters occurred. Some believe there's been a cover-up.
Whoa, redacted, bro.
I ended up going to Korea, and I can't prove it, but I really wasn't due for an assignment, and they kind of got me out of here in a hurry.
Any attempt to gather physical evidence at the site is now impossible.
Your mom went and heckled somebody.
When our sightings crew visited Bentwaters, this
You're
was
full
all
of
that
shit,
remained
Phoenix
of the
Lights
woods.
lady.
All
I
that
want my
there,
money
yes, the
back.
whole lot, 10,000 acres, was absolutely devastated.
British
Big
UFO
Brenda.
researcher Brenda Butler has been investigating the Bentwaters
And
sightings since
pints chugging champion.
1981. She claims that her efforts have been sabotaged by the U.S. and British governments.
The Ministry of Defence have been
You don't take
on to
a
us,
British man's beans and toast without a
telling us
fight.
to keep quiet and, not to say anything about it. What we can't understand is why this case, when all the other cases we've been on, we've been allowed to talk about it.
I have no doubt that our government and other governments are withholding information. They don't know what's going on, or if they do, they're not willing to share that information with the general populace. And sooner or later, it's all going to come out.
It wasn't until one of the base commanders' top secret...
To be fair, your mom was probably right. She was probably full of
memos
shit.
was released in 1983 that any information about the Bentwaters UFOs was made public. The U.S. Air Force still refuses to comment.
Could it have been a weapons experiment?
That's convenient timing, ain't it, Windhammer?
Could it have been a visitation from a UFO? Possibly. Is there a cover-up? Probably. Is there more to come from the Bentwaters incident? You bet.
No, there was never heard of again.
The Air Force continues to deny that a UFO encounter occurred at Bentwaters. Without the military's cooperation, the documents obtained through the Freedom of Information Act remain just one more tantalizing clue for scores of conspiracy
Freedom of Information Act is that old?
theorists. They remain convinced that
I thought the Freedom of Information Act was kind of new.
Top
I mean,
secret
maybe
UFO
like
information
15, 18 years old or something.
And plans to keep it that way.
Coming up, is this really a Bigfoot captured on
shit.
videotape?
Yes! This is the most compelling evidence to date.
Finally,
that
some
there
Bigfoot.
is a Sasquatch.
A Sightings exclusive next.
What you looking at, motherfucker?
Whether you know it is Sasquatch or Bigfoot, there is evidence that points to the existence of an enormous creature, half man, half ape. It could be the elusive missing link.
Shit floating over the Tupperware
Anthropologists
party?
are studying footprints, handprints, and now a new film exclusive to Sightings
Should have never went.
that appears to some to be authentic. Serious researchers won't give up
Serious researchers.
their quest for proof that Bigfoot is a living, breathing creature stalking the woods of North America. Sightings has brought you startling footage before.
There he
and
is.
now a surge in reports brings new information about this elusive monster. There are new eyewitness accounts, plaster footprints, photographs, and this exclusive videotape.
That's
This
your friend
is
in
the
a
most compelling
monkey
evidence
suit.
to date that there is a Sasquatch.
Researchers
Man, if I'm in the woods and I see a motherfucking Bigfoot and he's behind a bunch of shit, I'm getting a better picture. I'll be like, man, he might tear my head off, but I'm gonna get some good film of this motherfucker. It's always behind trees, behind a bush.
now discovered
Never a
what they
clear
believe
shot.
is a pattern of Bigfoot activity concentrated in eastern Washington state near the Idaho border. With over 50 sightings in the past year, local police here take Bigfoot reports seriously. One officer, Michael Bisbee, took us to the site of his own encounter.
Bisbee.
Early evening, about 6:30, 7 o'clock, I was on patrol in an area known as McCormick Ridge. And this big black object was
Who you
walking
call
away
an
from me,
object?
walking into the timber. I really didn't know what it was.
There it
I
is.
didn't really get a good look at him. He was running so fast. There's no human could
I'm
run
saying that it's always such a fake setup shot.
fast.
My boss got nervous, and after we started working again, he was worried about it trying to sneak around and trying to come,
That guy owns a dream catcher.
do something to us, sneak attack us is what he said.
Based on the high concentration of sightings here, our investigative team mounted an expedition into the area, headed by researcher Cliff Crook. Cliff and his partner Dean
It's in the
Smith
name.
believe that only a small, unobtrusive team would have any chance of capturing a Bigfoot on film. It was just this kind of expedition, led by Roger Patterson in 1967, that resulted in a startling piece of evidence. This 16mm film is believed to be the only authenticated Bigfoot
Get outta
footage
here.
to date. Patterson's partner, Bob Gimlin, was there.
When we came upon the creature, it was standing still by the creek. It immediately turned around and started to walk away. There is no way
is that right,
that this could ever be
interdimensional
falsified,
beings?
or any man could be in a suit because of the movement of the muscle underneath the hair.
The Patterson film is the second best evidence after some footprints.
Professor Grover
Get outta
Krantz
here, it's
heads
all
the
fake.
anthropology department at Washington State University. His
some
scholarly
hijinks?
research concludes that
You watch
Bigfoot
Harry and the
is
Hendersons so
real.
many times.
This is one of the most interesting ones. It's a 14.5-inch track. It shows what we call dermal ridges, the little fingerprint type ridges.
These are always the fakest looking like feet.
Been studied by police fingerprint
It's like
experts.
if you asked like a 3-year-old to draw a foot, you know.
And no one's found any flaw.
It always looks so dumb. Like the heel is always too big.
Imprint of some knuckles with the right hand. You can see it's
What
substantially
did Captain Caveman's foot look like?
larger than my hand, and this is the thumb over here. The individual apparently stumbled, hit the hand on the ground, and left the imprint, and the cast was made of those 4 digits curled around, and the 5th digit, the thumb, coming out.
You got one of those Hulk boxing gloves.
Right here is the thumbnail, the edge of the thumbnail.
Professor Krantz divides his research time between lab study and expeditions into the field. He is constantly searching for new evidence to support his theories. His findings indicate that Bigfoot is nocturnal, a creature of the night.
Big
Sightings
stanky ass
brought a
cone chip
specially
smelling
equipped
feet.
starlight filter into the research area. We hope that this night vision feature would increase our chances of finding an actual Bigfoot. Unfortunately, bad weather forced us to end the investigation before any
Yeah,
sightings
they
occurred.
teleport around. It's so stupid.
Soon after our team left the area, an anonymous videotape arrived with a Washington State postmark. There are those who believe this is actual footage of a small,
There he is.
possibly female Bigfoot. The creature appears in 2 sections of this VHS tape. The tape is played in its
Go get
entirety.
it. It's a little guy.
Here, the supposed Bigfoot moves behind some trees and then unexpectedly turns toward the camera. Washington-based photo analyst Mike Stusser studied this videotape for sightings.
The most compelling evidence in the
There it
tape
is.
is as simple as a head turn. In hoaxes, you see an animal that may be someone in a suit move with their head and their neck, and real Bigfoot specimens would move as a gorilla with their entire torso, and their head would move similarly.
The typical ape posture has the shoulders carried very high and the mouth and
I like it's
jaw
conveniently a baby Bigfoot, so a normal guy could just put on the suit and walk
is
around.
lower than the shoulder. So if an ape wants to turn its head, its jaw runs into its shoulder. The creature that Patterson watched turned its head, and then the shoulder went with it in what you just as what you would expect with an ape.
In the Patterson footage, you can see that the animal's walking straight forward.
Oh, get out of here,
He
dude.
turns to see the cameraman. His entire body,
Cameraman.
his torso and all, moves up and to the right.
You guys giving a whole
Here's the most
presentation.
recent Washington footage. You've got the animal crouched in a clearing here, and then as it starts to look towards the camera person, its entire torso comes up and to the left. Its whole body, not just the neck, but up and to the left. Very similar to the Patterson footage.
A little dramatic acting, don't you think?
Is this evidence of the legendary missing
Yes!
link? Experts are divided, but they all continue to gather evidence. Although there is no proof positive that Bigfoot exists, to many the circumstantial evidence is
at those
overwhelming,
graphs.
and researchers remain dedicated to finding
That guy's going over his slides with a magnifying glass. What does that do? It's already magnified, dude. What?
one piece of hard evidence.
Why are you
will
going over
finally
your
lay the
slides with a
controversy to
magnifying
rest.
glass?
Joining us now is Richard Greenwell, Secretary for the International Society of Cryptozoology. Richard has conducted numerous expeditions in search of Bigfoot
This show is
and
very
the
dumb.
Loch Ness Monster. Richard, thanks for joining us. You've had a chance to look now at the new Bigfoot footage. What do you make of it? Is it the real thing or a hoax?
I'd say probably a hoax.
Thank you.
For one
Finally.
thing, the supposed creature looks very much like a costume to me. Its
Yes,
gait
I can
and
see the zipper.
movement is wrong. The gait is very human-like, and the movement is very slow.
What else would you need to see to be sure that one exists?
Well, the only evidence that's going to convince the zoologists and the anthropologists is physical remains, bones, or
yeah, but dude, that guy took a magnifying glass to his already magnified slides. What now?
Animal or a complete animal, dead or alive. That's the bottom line.
Is there any sort of photographic evidence or videotape evidence that you would find persuasive?
If there was film footage that was in conjunction with extremely good eyewitness testimony from reliable people, then that would be a very strong case. Otherwise, when it's a videotape that comes in, you don't know who took it or it's questionable, has very little value.
If you were a betting man, Richard, what would you say the odds are that there is a Bigfoot?
Well,
None.
I may get into trouble for this, but I'd say, in my opinion, based on all the evidence I've looked at and the 3,000 reports, I would say that the odds are just over 50% that there is a living Sasquatch or Bigfoot.
Richard Greenwell, thank you very much for being with us. And we will be back with more sightings in just a moment.
Coming up.
How come no one shows that dumb clip anymore? When's the last time you ever seen, or have you ever seen that stupid clip before?
Rash of UFO sightings in Wisconsin leads to a special investigation.
I believe that there's an intelligent life force out there somewhere, and I think it's visiting.
We received
ramen noodle dome ass Bill.
Videos from all over North America.
Cup of noodle head ass Bill.
Of what viewers believe are UFOs. Recently, we received 3 separate tapes from 3 different individuals who don't know each other. Yet they all shot the same thing. Unidentified flying objects over Wisconsin.
Oh, shit.
A bright light outside of Julie Graceffa's bedroom window compelled her to grab her camcorder and shoot into the Milwaukee night.
I did begin to believe that they did want me to film them for some purpose, for some reason.
Kevin Crump was driving his grandmother home when he grabbed his video camera.
At first, I thought it was a plane.
Oh, it's a plane.
Then, when I slowed down and we looked, it shot out a blue light out of the back end. And we knew then it couldn't have been a plane.
A friend's phone call sent Beaver Dam resident Carol Putz into her yard with camera in tow.
I believe that there's an intelligent life force out there somewhere, and I think it's
Yeah, but you believe a lot of dumb shit.
visiting.
You believe in that haircut.
Received about 12 calls from people stating that they had seen
you believe in that
unexplainable
haircut.
lights in the sky. There's no doubt in my mind that there was something there.
Those first calls came in on January 31st, 1993. 2 sheriff's deputies tracked the strange lights for more than 20 minutes as they headed west, then sharply south into neighboring Jefferson County.
What we've had with these recent sightings in Wisconsin are incredible people seeing incredible things. And it's also an added plus when the individuals that are reporting are trained observers.
I believe the credibility of the people. I believe my deputies that
He
they did
believes
see
it.
something. It's unexplained at this time. And as far as I'm concerned, I won't close it out until we have an answer to it.
And if that answer is visitors from another planet, at least one witness welcomes the possibility of an alien encounter.
Who says we're the only life forms around? Something or
Reading your
somebody living
comments,
has got to be
ugh.
somewhere else. You know, we're not that special.
The number of sightings in Wisconsin has caused some residents to believe their area has been chosen for a close encounter of the third kind.
Oh, shit.
I don't want to be alone in it anymore. I want other people to see it now. I want witnesses with me. It's getting to be...
these old videos, it just looks like a white dot. It could be
a little
anything.
Scary.
It literally
The
could be
fact
anything.
This thing is out here every night, and when is it going to go away? Is it going to be here forever, or what?
If you've sighted what you believe to be a UFO, or if you've captured on film or videotape any type of paranormal activity, our Sightings investigative team wants to know about it.
I want to know about
If
it.
you've had a paranormal experience, call the Sightings hotline at 1-900-740-SIGHT. That's
barely even an implication.
1-900-740-SITE. Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. Again, the Sightings hotline number is 1-900-740-7483.
75 cents per minute. What a deal.
It was this being.
Man, this is from 93, and I still think that's too much.
I was afraid to look at the face. I was afraid to see what it looked like.
I became paralyzed. They opened my back.
Experience another
Well, what did it say?
next.
Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Tim Ford. Next. Do we have any more? righteous.
This edition of Sightings, a frightening entity leaves a bloody trail.
Oh, ghosts! Finally, some ghosts.
Sally, stop it.
On tape, it's a stunning paranormal event.
She scares the living daylights out of me.
Then, from America's UFO hotspot, evidence of an extraterrestrial invasion.
We've seen an extraordinary increase in large-scale contact events.
This man's gift is haunted by the faces of death.
I bring life to death through my
artistic
abilities.
Your brother called the phone sex line. He was calling Sightings, wasn't he? I would have more respect for calling it. Oh shit! Tim, you're a married man.
Hey Tim White, I got evidence of you power porking Ursula back in 1998.
Power porking Timford? Thank you. Wow!
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. A ghostly presence on videotape. It's the one piece of hard evidence that's eluded our ghost investigations.
Oh, shit.
Until now.
Finally,
When
ghosts.
Sightings received a call from a beleaguered family in the Midwest, our team went to investigate. What they found was haunting activity unlike anything this Sightings crew had ever seen.
Oh, temper.
The result was hours of bizarre, ghostly activity captured for the first time.
Nintendo Power. Hey, the Nintendo hotline was free.
It's happening here, somewhere in America's heartland. The family has asked that we not say exactly where they live, but it's a town like any other where people work, raise a family, and are laid to rest. There, however, the similarity ends. We were told at least one soul here is not at rest, and that her spirit is trapped inside this house. Spirit, ghost, entity. It has many names, and many ways of making its presence known. The family here fears ridicule and persecution. They've asked us not to use their real names, so we'll refer to them as Pamela, Jeff, and their infant son, Donnie.
You prank call the AIDS hotline. Oh, no. Can't imagine many people calling the AIDS hotline.
First signs of something out of the ordinary began when the young couple moved into
Here we
this
go, finally.
128-year-old house in January of 1993. At first, the haunting activity was subtle and only seemed to be occurring in one small bedroom at the top of the stairs. Pamela and Jeff had a weird, indefinable feeling that something wasn't quite right. Their usually docile dog started feeling it too. She would whimper and cry anytime she came near that room.
Yeah, remember those bad commercials in the 90s? Those cheesy phone sex commercials?
They now feel the persistent barking was a warning they did not heed.
Uh-oh.
As these home videos
Some
show,
proof.
after the birth of their son, Donnie, the bedroom was converted into a nursery. It was here that an entity began to show itself. Pictures of newborn Donnie were marred
We used to
by
prank the
strange
Nintendo hotline and ask, and just we were like fucking young.
blocks of free
And ask
floating
stupid
light and
shit.
shadow.
That stupid question.
It happened on roll after roll of film and with two different
They must have had to
cameras.
deal with that so much.
Even more bizarre was the discovery, when this photo was enlarged, that the crayon on the tablet seems to be held in space by an invisible hand. We tried to recreate this photo with wires, pins, and other tricks.
And all of them worked.
Did not.
Oh, shut up.
Through a friend, Pamela contacted psychic Barbara Connor,
taters.
who believes she can communicate with entities from the past.
I was thinking it was a little crowded. Yeah, she doesn't like it. She says too many people are in here. Get out.
Within a few minutes of her arrival, Barbara began to communicate with what she felt was the spirit of a child. She said the
That's
spirit was
awful,
that of a little
Patrick.
girl named Sally, and that she was there to protect the baby Donnie. Barbara believes that the blurs and streaks in dozens of family photographs are actually a physical manifestation of Sally. We wanted Edson Williams, a trick photography
the ghost.
expert, to give us his opinion.
Someone just shook the
Sightings
camera.
obtained the original negatives and photos, and with the family's approval, had them analyzed to determine if anything in the camera or in the film processing could account for the bizarre images.
Think that could run
One photo that
Doom?
really caught my attention was the Christmas photos. The
highlights that ran through the image. They're localized. They're not throughout the image. They're in very small regions, and they're running at different angles. Initially, I tried to recreate this simply with a few quick tricks, and unfortunately, they did not work for me. It'd be a very difficult shot to recreate.
That guy still works with a computer to this day.
Photograph I found very interesting was one that had a small child's toy in a corner with a blue ghosting image around it. Initially, I thought it possibly cut out a blue gel, which would be a blue plastic, clear plastic, and wiggle that in front of the camera could recreate it. But the density difference.
I don't know. Why is some ghost gonna sit and mess around with some frump? You know what I mean? Like I said, these ghost stories are always so wacky. Like, why would a ghost do that?
We're too varied. Photographic evidence is something I always question because my
I mean,
job
maybe
is
once
to
in a while it'd be fun to fuck with somebody, but after that it would get really
create
old.
illusions photographically. But these several pictures that I was shown
Super Mario
are
Paint.
very difficult to explain.
The family believes this is evidence of Sally, the lost spirit of a long-dead girl.
Sally,
and
no!
like a macabre version of Mother Goose. When Sally is good, she's very, very good. And when she's bad, she's horrid. According to Pamela and Jeff, this is Sally's handiwork. They say a swirling, frigid...
That guy was just boning the neighbor bitch and she scratched his back.
aura announces her presence.
Oh, it was Sally. It was Sally that gave me these scratches on my back.
Then Sally
I wasn't
leaves
cheating.
welting,
I
bloody
wasn't fucking the lady across the street once or twice.
Lashes on Jeff's bare flesh, as documented in these photos and verified by many eyewitnesses.
I'm just saying, why would a ghost mess with anybody? Go do something else.
So far, Jeff has been the only victim. When our Sightings crew arrived to investigate, the first step was to videotape interviews with Pamela and Jeff. These interviews were important, but the director had given strict orders to immediately turn the cameras on any strange activity as soon as it occurred. It was during this first interview session that the entity made its presence known. Jeff and Donnie watched from just behind the camera.
Sally also gave me crabs.
Paula was being interviewed first.
We had gone over to my in-laws. We had come home shortly after.
Sally also keyed my car when I didn't call her back.
Found all the stuffed animals that were in.
As Pamela described a previous encounter with Sally, noise from a backyard chainsaw started to interfere with the videotaping.
Oh shit, ghosts.
Cats were downstairs with us. Just nothing
That is not a chainsaw, is it?
could happen.
As Pamela waited for the noise to stop, Jeff called out.
Is it going?
Whoa, ghosts!
She don't like everybody here, did.
Sally,
Dude, did you just pull a Hulk Hogan?
stop it.
What?
Did you just Hulk Hogan yourself?
You don't know.
Sally?
Go on in, walk in there. Walk in there. And get a towel and clean it off his arm. Stay on the... What's going on?
I gotta get my sense of it.
She's right here, because it is freezing right here.
It is freezing. I feel it.
All you do is you feel this cold go through you. That's how I just had to
Sally?
look back.
Okay, Sally, we're going to stop. Sally, we're going to stop until Barbara comes here, okay?
Sally,
When Barbara
behave
comes,
yourself.
She'll talk to you and let you know.
Right here. I can
God.
feel it. We're interviewing. It's hot. We've turned the air conditioner off for sound purposes, but it is cold right here in this part of the room.
I trust you,
The
Sightings
air
guy.
conditioner is off.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt
Look at that.
cold
Look at
just
that.
like freeze me over here.
This is the same thing that occurs when
He bladed
he's
himself.
scratched his face, or he's had scratches across
Let me get a
his
little
forehead,
juice for Sightings.
down his arm. She does this when she's upset.
I'm still shaking.
I know, my heart's pounding too. I think
I'm a little excited. I gotta tell you.
well, we've had a little excitement this
Who'd that be?
morning.
Oh, really? Already?
The family asked psychic Barbara Connor to join our investigation. They felt Barbara...
Is this
could
80s, early
communicate
90s? I believe this is 92, 93. I don't know. I don't know how long the show was in the can before they
and
released
helped
it, you
calm
know?
her down.
Probably 92.
Feeling good? What's this?
That's what she just did.
She just did this?
Yeah.
I feel her now.
That guy just wanted to show off his biceps.
Yeah, she's here. Hi, Sally.
5-point red shark.
What's going on? Excitement. She's excited. It's really cold. Okay, it's okay.
A whole movie out of this
Yeah,
ghost?
It's, she's excited about all this.
Is she
Yeah.
liking it, or
Yeah.
is she upset?
She's upset. She's a little upset.
Just wanted to show the guns off.
What's going on here? She says, I like it, but it's scary.
Yeah, well, honey, it's scary for us, too.
Yeah,
We've
that's
never
what
done anything
Horseshit. Fucking horseshit.
like that.
That's what I told her. I said, no, it's everybody's uptight with this.
She scares the living daylights out of me, to be honest with you.
Oh, remember that ghost hunting couple that was on, what was that show? Ghost Adventures? And then the husband later ended up killing her than himself.
I can add this right now. She's right here with me right now. I'm feeling something really cold shoot around my stomach.
What the hell is that sound?
We asked Jeff to describe what he was feeling. He looked like he was in pain, but Jeff didn't respond.
Keep the arm flexed for the cameras.
He couldn't speak.
I've lost my breath. I'm sorry.
You played Doom on that computer?
In the chair, as you guys were interviewing my wife, I was sitting in the rocking chair with my son. He was playing with a little toy, and we were tilted a little forward so we could watch the
Dan Plato definitely needed her butthole bleached.
through the doorway. When this cold just shot through my arm, and it's done it before. I knew the feeling. It's just, I can't explain the cold. It freezes your bones, everything.
My boy!
And as I looked towards my arm, I had 4 scratches that were bleeding as I looked at them. And it's really frightening.
Stop flexing your arm, you jerk. Everyone knows what you're doing.
She's just went right through my midsection.
It looks pretty fake, dude. You know what I think that why it's fake? Because when she put a paper towel on it, if he was just cut, that can you see my pointer, my Bob? No. All right, where's where's my dome? All right, Joe Biden, I need you real quick. See this drip right here? That would have wiped off, but it never came off. You know what doesn't wipe off real easy? That cheesy ass shit fake blood you get at the Halloween store. I'm just saying it's fake. It didn't even change color. He's been cut open for hours and it's still bright red.
Oh my God, look.
The drip would have wiped, exactly. It's fake as fuck. Funk fakery. Oh no, another?
Oh, look, they're forming.
Can't come up with an explanation why she does this.
It's forming right there.
She tends to do this to me because I upset her sometimes.
Dude, you better kick that ghost ass.
And she wants to be noticed, I think, today.
This family has asked to remain anonymous. What's happening inside their house is so bizarre, they don't want to become just another media event. When we return, our investigation
cage match? You had a cage match, a ghost?
On Sightings.
And this is like the most profound thing I've ever seen.
Kind of cheap, though, because the ghost could just go right through the cage.
In all parapsychology, this is fact.
That is the fakest blood. They should have never got a close-up of that, because it's like, oh, man, I know how fake blood works. It's totally fake.
In the years we've been doing this program, our
blood doesn't stick like that.
Time-consuming and often frustrating. But the current case in the Midwest is clearly different. From day one, the crew was experiencing unexplainable haunting phenomena.
1 second, guys.
And they were getting it on tape.
It's a sensation like the air conditioning on your automobile. If you put your hand up right in front of the vent, you feel the air blowing. Real fresh. But if you move your hand away from the vent, it goes away. Oh.
I think she's messing with you.
It is swirling.
Our sightings director is Greg Cook. He was excited about the presence of strange cold spots that would come and go without warning or reason.
It is so cold right here.
Oh, what's this electrical charge you're talking about?
Did you feel it?
Did you feel it?
Yeah, it's like a mild electrical shock.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, my God.
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Electrical shock. Right here.
That is unbelievable.
Paranormal investigator Howard Heim brought in instruments that could measure the cold and magnetic energy everyone in the house was feeling. Howard Heim has documented over 100 reported hauntings around the world. Strangely enough, as soon as he arrived, our video camera began to malfunction. There was breakup, usually a sign that there's been some kind of electrical interference.
Can you lift your sack for me, sir?
Can you feel this? Come here.
No, I cannot.
As soon as you came over, it went this way.
You can feel it? Well, let's take a few minutes. So it's 77.7 degrees Fahrenheit in here. This dropped a point. It did instantly drop from 0.7 to 0.6.
I'm just saying the house gets really cold in December.
It just dropped another point. It's dropping
back
again.
on the curve.
0.4. Dropped again. It's 0.3 now. And a gradual, and it dropped a point again. It's now 0.2. It keeps getting cooler.
Can we talk about this lady's jeans?
It's like a narrow shaft of
Yeah.
Very sassy jeans.
It is.
And my hand is, I can feel it coming down, but his hand's on top of mine. And if you put yours underneath, you should be able to feel it as well, even though...
I actually feel it slightly cooler.
Feel that?
You just made curve?
Blowing around?
Yeah.
You gotta. You can't take sightings straight.
I feel like a
You need
small
curve.
circumference about 4 inches in diameter coming straight down.
And our hands are blocking
You're
the
biggest
airflow.
discovering AC.
That was interesting. It was almost like a narrow thing hitting the back of my hand.
The instruments picked up both an increase in electromagnetism and a measurable decrease in room temperature. But no instrument could explain what happened just a few minutes later in the kitchen. Pamela was showing Barbara a teddy bear that had been inexplicably burned.
And steam started coming
Later,
out of her
in the same
ass.
spot, Sally seemed to be telling Pamela she was the fire starter.
My husband
Super ridiculous fire
found
starter.
this kind of half fresh, half dead flower singed around the edges.
Is it possible that Sally burned the rose in reaction to Pamela's discussion?
Hey, could
about
any of this shit happen on camera? That'd be cool.
teddy bear?
Pamela loves for
We went back to that earlier moment on our raw field tapes. The rose was there on the windowsill, but at this point it appeared fully red with undamaged petals.
I don't see anything.
Who could have burned that rose without anyone seeing it or smelling it in the space of less than 5 minutes?
Oh, I wonder.
That's incredible. The interior
Look at this guy falling for all this shit.
leaves are burnt around the edges with no damage to the overlapping leaves, as if they were individually burned and then assembled. That is bizarre. You can't duplicate this.
What, you can't just hold a lighter to it?
This cannot be duplicated.
Whoa! You're a little fella again.
Go see.
I heard that's hard, that System Shock remake. Not like hard, but like what did you get lost?
This used to be his cradle, but we've put it in here.
I wanted to try that Ribbon remake, but I'm like, man, I can't stand puzzle games. I'd end up pulling my hair out.
It's like a gathering for her toys, things that she's allowed to play with and not get into trouble for.
In the bedroom that had been the source of so much haunting activity, electromagnetic field readings were normal.
I found a box full of meth. It must have been from Sally.
Then Pamela felt that Sally had arrived.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Right here.
The magnetometer needle jumped.
Look at it. We're 2.5. Now we're at 3. I can actually feel it.
Xbox has been down?
It's very light, but it is noticeable.
During our investigation, everyone who entered the house felt an eerie, ghostly presence. But only
There's so many games I want to play, but I know my my attention span wouldn't allow me. I drift off too easy.
Seen a manifestation of Sally.
I walked over to the kitchen cabinet, opened the cabinet, and got out a glass, poured my orange juice. Started to take a drink, and as I turned around, there was a little girl standing not more than 3
What, you got the new fancy Xbox?
away from me.
The menus won't
Plain as
even
you
load?
are
What the
to me
fuck?
now. Just standing there with this plain look on her face, just looking at me like she was curious about me too. And
What am I waiting?
Oh, I can't explain the
Oh,
the
I didn't know he was
feeling
talking
I
about a little
dropped
kid.
The glass shattered.
I take
and as
it
I
back.
dropped the glass, she was gone just as quick as she was there. It was
He
just
saw
gone.
her. Hey, fuckface, can we test that blood on your arm?
Sally never materialized for our low-light
Sally's
intensity
biggest
viewing
present,
equipment. But our normal video camera did pick up perhaps the most stunning paranormal
That
event
was the new Xbox. That ain't good.
ever recorded on tape. It came without warning, as our cameras were in the process of recording one final scene.
Sally, can Can you see through it? Is it working?
Yeah.
And
And go up.
Top. Very slowly, yeah.
Look, one's starting to bleed. There's a whole new.
You getting a new one?
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that.
Oh my God.
It actually.
I knew
just,
she was around.
It's this nice dark one where it's bleeding. So look at that. Look at that.
Standing on down.
There it is.
Look at it.
We trained our cameras on Jeff's torso for 9 minutes, the entire duration of the bizarre event. What first appeared as scratches
Look at that, guys.
eventually grew into long, thick, bleeding welts. No one had a logical explanation.
Sounds like that guy is a Pickles in the house. That's what Pickles does.
To be honest with you.
It just simply appeared. You lifted your shirt, the same scratches were there. You put this to your stomach, and all of a sudden blood started to ooze out.
The Xbox X.
And this is like the most profound thing I've ever seen.
If I was gonna get any new console, it'd probably be the black Xbox. If that, I think that's the one you're saying.
I've seen
the Xbox names are too fucking confusing. They gotta understand that. That's why people don't buy that shit. Fucking the name Xbox Series S, and then what was it? The Xbox, the one before that. It was like the Xbox One X or something. What the fuck?
It could be suggestion, but this is
Too
not
confusing for a little guy.
This
Yeah,
is
right. He's got a
fact,
Pickles in the house.
and you have it on tape.
When our crew returned from the Midwest, the excitement in the Sightings offices was palpable.
Our videotape has
still don't know
become the
what you're
object of
talking about.
intense interest for paranormal investigators, like Kerry Gaynor. We ask him to view the tape, making careful examination in side-by-side views of the before and after frames taken while this bleeding scratch welted up before our camera.
When we return, I'll be joined by Field Director Greg
some
Cook
evidence.
and world-renowned parapsychologist Kerry Gaynor as we continue this remarkable investigation.
Coming up next, historic contact with an entity. And later, from America's UFO hotspot, unprecedented daylight sightings captured on tape.
Yeah, I do most everything on PC, but consoles are cool if you can get a deal for them, you know?
Is Sightings Director Greg Cook. Greg supervised the crew on site during our investigation. Greg, you've earned your stripes in the news business for a long time. You've worked for 60 Minutes and elsewhere. Has anything like this ever happened before?
Never, Tim. The frightening thing was that it happened early in the day at 10 o'clock in the morning with all of the movie lights on and all the people through the house. It wasn't like what you would presume you
I'm calling
see when you see a
shenanigans.
ghost. It didn't happen late at night under candlelight and that sort of thing. It was in the confusion of the crew arriving and in daylight hours, and everybody felt it. It was.
I think you got to
was-
pay like $20 or like, was it like 15, 20 bucks to get the dev
That was the
mode?
frightening thing. You actually felt this thing happen. Everybody in the crew did.
We saw the rose and we saw the marks on the man's body. There was another incident that you didn't have on film, the bib?
There was a shot that I thought might be interesting if she were to walk in carrying the baby, and the baby at the time was sitting in the high chair. So I
Poor
said,
little guy?
let's just, you know,
Involving your baby in this nonsense.
to this area of the room, walk in, and we'll begin. She took off the baby's bib, took 10 steps to the left, and walked back in again and went to put the bib on. It would not attach. The plastic cap beneath the bib had burned in the 20 seconds it took for her to walk away from the bib. I
Get
immediately
outta
smelled it.
here.
It could smell a sense of charcoal and burning, but the plastic had melted, but there was no fire damage to top or bottom of that piece of plastic. And that occurred right while we were there. And it was a sort of a frightening moment. That did occur at night, and I felt a little uneasy about staying there.
Well, you're a skeptical guy. Couldn't all of this have been fake
That's
somehow?
next, all right.
If we'd gone there and perhaps what you saw was cutting and bleeding, you might question, how did that happen? The fact was that everybody who came,
Well, how come it only cut the one dude? How come it didn't cut the bitch? Because she didn't want to cut herself. That's why.
film members, other
The
friends of
baby is
theirs,
now making
neighbors who had
YouTube
been there for
food
the time of
reviews.
taping, everybody in the room felt the same sensation of cold. I think there's a lot of interpretation there. But I do know that what I felt and what everybody else in our crew felt was a definite electrical energy. It moved around the room. You could follow it around the room. It wasn't something that we just kind of said, well, we thought it was there. It
There needs
was
to be a
there.
Sightings episode dedicated to Royce.
Well, Greg, since you filed this report, Sightings has contacted parapsychologist Kerry Gaynor
Oh,
and
no.
asked for his insight. Mr. Gaynor is best known
Who
for
are
his
these people?
investigations of the now famous entity and poltergeist cases. Mr. Gaynor, you've had a chance to look at our field videotapes. What do you think?
Well, I think it's very exciting. The nice thing for me as a researcher
Look
is
at that hair. So much bouncing body.
the cameraman held the camera on the blood spot from the moment it started to the moment the welts appeared. He never cut away, so we have about 8 or 9 minutes of raw footage.
No, that was real. He really cut himself, but that arm shit was fake.
It's very interesting. It's very exciting. I spent a great deal of time trying to determine which cases are worth
I
investigating.
mean, he scratched himself somehow.
Which are not, and I think this one is.
What are some of the more common signs of a haunting? Things that show up here as well as other cases you've looked into?
Well, one of the things I was intrigued by were the bears that were found in the middle of the room. And they went out of the room and they put the bears back. They came back and one bear was found in the middle of the room.
Dude, you could have that whole hot dog.
Poltergeist?
That's right. This suggests a very
You could
playful
have it,
kind
dude.
of experience.
There's a
And we've come
beefaroni
across
too,
this
under
a
the
lot.
banana peel.
People take their clothes out. They get up the next morning. They're back in the drawer again. Just playful type phenomena.
You think this family is at threat, in danger?
Well, I think there are different types of
That's
things.
not a fun game. That game sucks.
What's going on in this house? I wouldn't think there's one explanation. The bears appearing in the middle of the room is a playful type poltergeist experience, but the scratches on the man's stomach and his arm, and according to his testimony, he was yanked out of his bed. Those are pretty terrifying experiences, and yes, I'm a little concerned about that.
We'll continue to look into it. Parapsychologist Kerry Gaynor, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And I will be going back to the Midwest along with Greg Cook and our entire investigative team to see what more we can learn about the Heartland ghost. We'll bring you our findings as soon as possible.
Shit, I want to know the findings.
Sightings continues.
At all costs, preserve the social order. That has always been the stakes. Those are war.
All the aliens want a one-world government where Israel runs the whole world.
Stakes, okay?
Then, sculpting the faces of death.
I like how aliens want a world exactly like the billionaires. The aliens think exactly like the billionaires.
And later, is this the porthole to a parallel universe?
Whoa!
90% of all reported UFOs are seen after dark. Far rarer and virtually undocumented are daytime sightings. But now a rash of daylight UFO sightings is being meticulously documented in one of the world's most famous UFO hotspots, Gulf Breeze, Florida.
Oh. It's because everyone's drunk.
Since at least 1947, elements of our government have been absolutely aware that we have non-human, highly advanced intelligence visiting this planet. If the secret is impossible to keep, then we must find a way to adjust to this extraordinary oddity. Bottom line is, at all costs, preserve the social order. That has always been the stakes. And of course, those are very high stakes. Those are war stakes, okay? We're looking at a war.
I like stakes.
They won't go away. The latest Gulf Breeze sightings are adding an ominous new layer to the UFO story. Sightings has obtained exclusive photographs and videotapes of mysterious craft flying in broad daylight. This new evidence is among the most significant
undisputable
UFO
facts
footage ever recorded.
The photo and video evidence that we've recently seen from Gulf Breeze is
yeah,
far
those
more
weirdo fucking. This guy looks trustworthy. Those weirdo guys.
than all the previous UFO
With the Ouija
photo
board,
and
yeah, I
video
remember
evidence
that.
combined.
It used to be just another resort town in southern Florida, but Gulf Breeze has changed. Vacationing families drawn to the area's tropical waters and white sand beaches aren't the only visitors in the area. For nearly a decade, the name Gulf Breeze has become synonymous with UFOs.
It's been going on almost continuously since 1987. It is not a flash-in-the-pan situation.
The clusters of sightings over Gulf Breeze are taking on a new look. Rare daylight events have UFO researchers scrambling for an explanation.
We are
Now everyone has a camera, and you never see these sightings anymore.
are going through a series, it seems, of daylight sightings, and the nighttime sightings have almost completely diminished.
I see it, lady.
90% of all reported...
It's pointing to the one dot on the picture. There it is. You see it? I see it.
or recorded UFO sightings occur at night.
It's dropping space turds.
10% are seen during daytime hours and are rarely captured on tape or film. Along with the increase in daylight sightings has been an increase in the number of eyewitness reports.
I watch this stupid YouTube channel. I don't know the name of it, but like I watch it just to get mad. And be like, dude, I know how they're doing that. It's so fake.
In the community who have said that they've seen UFOs are people like doctors and lawyers and real estate people. And it's just not a bunch of lunatics running
Yeah, I
around.
mean, trustworthy lawyers, right?
saying that they saw
Trustworthy Floridian lawyers.
in the sky. It's
I saw
very
an
different.
alien.
This is not a movie. It is actual footage of a UFO seen over Gulf Breeze.
I mean, are lawyers respectable people? Not really, right? Lawyers are kind of scumbags, aren't they?
Broad daylight.
Unless any of you guys are lawyers, then I take it back.
The daylight sightings that we've had of the last year have all been authenticated. The photographs, the videos, the witnesses have all proved positive.
Here in Gulf Breeze, there's so many sightings and there's so much going
right,
on.
so much better than everyone else.
Either you have to go on with your life or you let it just drive you crazy. And so I've just chosen to go on with my life.
On November 28th, 1993,
You trust your lawyer?
Ed Walters, a successful
I
local
trust that fucking sweet dude.
contractor, saw bright flashes of light.
You
in the
defended
afternoon
OJ? I
sky.
knew it.
He grabbed his home video camera and drove toward the lights.
Which one were you?
I actually drove down to the public beach, got out of
Yeah,
my
I mean,
truck.
if I went to law school, I would have been a scummy lawyer too.
Calmly
Thank God I'm incredibly stupid.
walked out onto the beach, hoping that I might see these bright flashes once again. Walking along here towards the west. Continued to scan around, look around. Panning around here. 360, there's the sand dunes, that's the north. Oh, jeez, goodness gracious.
Run, little guy, he's gonna get you.
Right there. It appeared and flew in from the north, hovered out over the beach, over the
You
shoreline.
wanted to check out that 5-head.
And I dashed over to towards the sand dunes and dropped to my knees and started filming it.
This is what Ed Walters captured on videotape. The shaded, disc-shaped object appears to hover overhead, then abruptly disappears.
Whoa!
There she is, right there.
Look at those 2 pixels.
Oh my God, just hovering right there.
It's sand.
Oh, Jesus, when you know it.
Jeff Sainio is a video analyst with MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network.
MUFON. You know all those dumb fucking like UFO presentations we watch? Remember the one where the lady got, it was pretty obvious she got raped by her uncle and she was blaming aliens? Yeah, that's MUFON.
Recognized worldwide as an expert in his field, Sainio believes Walters' tape is authentic.
Notice particularly
My
when
dad told me to always look my best when I went to bed because the aliens might come to get me.
he sees the objects, how the oscilloscope
That was the worst
shows that
thing ever
camera
on
wasn't being bounced
Dardbunker.
around. You'll see a lot of video disturbance there, which is typical of a raw video of a camera that's been bounced around. That eliminates editing as a possibility for creating this thing.
There she is, right there.
Easy.
Ed Walters is no stranger to UFO documentation. He snapped the first Gulf Breeze UFO photograph in 1987. He also took
What the hell
his
is that?
picture,
It's a bird.
which he believes is a near miss between a UFO and a fighter jet.
And the jet was continuing on.
Aliens are this guy's only friend. Hey, where do I get that fucking shirt? I want that shirt.
To me, like it was headed right at.
Look pretty for the angels. That's it.
Ed Walters has come under fire from skeptics
want that shirt,
who
guys.
do not believe that one man could have seen and documented so many significant UFO events. But Walters is not bothered by charges that he is a sophisticated hoaxer.
There are some people who just absolutely will
That
not
shirt. That's the one I want.
consider the evidence. They will kill the messenger. Judge me
Yeah, they're
if
still
you
around.
will.
They don't do any of these cornball presentations anymore, though.
Fact is, I videotaped and saw a UFO.
With enough time, money, luck, and skill, anything can
Oh,
be faked.
that guy, Vic, that guy turned out to be a dude in a dress. That guy went full dude in a dress. I know what you're talking
Unless Ed
about.
Walters has Steven Spielberg as a brother-in-law to fake this video, 2 different types of photographs, would be extremely difficult for an ordinary man to fake.
Walters isn't the only one to document a daytime sighting. This footage was shot by a Gulf Breeze resident who chooses to remain anonymous. He gave the tape and his story to local reporter Bland Pugh.
The UFO, as he observed it, came out of the southeast. It moved over his head at incredibly fast speed.
That's the shirt they give you. Here, dude, you're on the registry. Here's your pink and baby blue shirt. Enjoy.
And disappeared out to the northwest. This particular sighting in itself was a landmark sighting in that it actually showed the UFO disappearing or leaving, as it were.
See it coming in here, it's very indistinct, appears to be moving relatively slowly. So here's a slowdown of the same video, object hovering there motionless,
Weird New Jersey.
zips off instantaneously, barely make it out as it zips off to the right. The object was about 3 miles away on the left side, got up to about 2 miles away on the right side, was doing about 4,000 miles
Oh,
an
I never
hour.
heard of that one.
Still, another documented sighting comes from an eyewitness known only as Philip. The flight pattern is similar to that on the other videotapes.
Well,
and
it
so is the
disappeared.
shape of the craft.
The various videos corroborate each other. They corroborate previous
This guy looks like a Kids in the Hall character.
witness testimony. And so it all, the pieces of the puzzle all fit together.
Military bases in the area may have information about what is flying above southern Florida. But
No,
every
it wasn't
attempt
a
to
bird, it was
obtain
an
comment
alien.
from the military is not only denied, it is ignored.
It could be that the military is tied into this. I'm not accusing, nor am I saying they are covering up. I'm just saying that they've just kept their mouth shut.
True.
I do believe there is a growing pattern.
All right, man. I am not digging these episodes.
Suggests that we're getting
Sightings,
closer
you
to
better.
actually
Next
meeting the
episode better be
neighbors.
fucking good.
Gulfbreeze is part of that
Or it's
pattern.
feces flinging time. I will fling feces.
We will be back with more sightings in just a moment.
Next on Sightings.
The recomposer of the decomposed. And it's not a bad title. He does recompose people.
It comes right from my soul.
Forensic scientists go to great lengths to try and identify the skeletal remains of anonymous victims. in our
Tip your
nation's
shit
morgues.
bucket over.
One technique involves taking an unidentified skull and
Oh, we're
building
gonna
a
make some domes.
face on
These
top
are
of it
good.
with
I mean, they
clay.
ain't really paranormal or anything. Just a guy
clay is
recreating
applied
domes.
according to scientific measurements based on anatomy. But one of the
It
most
must be they were getting
successful
desperate.
forensic sculptors doesn't rely on science alone.
Nobody should be dead without a name. I mean, that to me is a disgrace to a society that does nothing
Big Frank
about
Bender.
getting these
Fancy
people
Frank Bender.
These are the faces of death, brought to life by sculptor Frank Bender.
I bring life to
Couldn't
death
make a Gary
through my
dome. No,
artistic
it couldn't make a. It couldn't make a. What's his fucking name? Big Matt. He couldn't make a Big Matt dome.
The artist takes anonymous numbered
Hello.
remains and gives them a human face. But Bender says he does more than recreate flesh. He
More
tries to
tea,
capture
honey.
their souls so they can reach out to
Let
a
me get one of them
long-lost loved
cigarettes.
one.
My
It was
husband beat
almost
me.
like a spiritual thing. When you looked at her, I mean, the face just appeared.
He starts with a nameless, faceless skull. In his mind's eye, a picture starts to form. Using an artist's intuition.
Guy's crazy.
a detective's
Did you see that guy's head?
hunch, and some say a psychic gift, Bender creates a person out of clay and paint.
He calls himself the recomposer of the decomposed.
No, but yeah, he says that cornball shit, but he's not an idiot. He knows, like, you know, the standard thickness of, you know, the skin and fucking meat on your dome, you know? They have markers that they work by.
And it's not a bad title, really. He does recompose people.
Frank Bender has given Sightings a rare opportunity to observe.
I've seen how they do this before. They put little, like, markers of, like, how thick the skin should
He's
be.
trying to help police identify the killer of a 5-year-old boy found dead near a vacant lot in Philadelphia.
The key to this investigation is actually finding out who the child is. And this is where Frank comes in.
Frank Bender's bizarre forensic career began in a morgue in 1976. He was a struggling artist
This guy takes himself way too fucking seriously.
looking to study anatomy. In a moment that changed his life forever, Bender was strangely drawn to one badly decomposed Jane Doe.
Poor little
We really didn't have any idea what she looked like, and we didn't have a very good clue into who she really was.
I had said to the technician, well, I know what she looks like.
With instinct and intuition as his only guides, Bender attempted to
You can
discover
do it,
the woman
Bender.
from just her bare bones.
It comes right from my soul, right from my heart. It's not, to me, just an identification thing. Not just eyes, nose, and mouth, but a personality.
And butthole.
His
I also recreate their butthole. His butthole recreations are 95% accurate.
And circulated. Within 6 months, the victim was identified. There are forensic sculptors working
Oh yeah,
for
no,
police
this guy's definitely full of shit.
departments around the country. But their
What it is he's doing what all the other ones do, but he says he's magic.
knowledge of anatomy
You know.
and the mechanics of physiology lack what Bender brings to the same work, a real sense of who the person was. It was a bittersweet success.
Whoa!
Bender was haunted by the faces of his victims. His own personal art began to change.
As you asked him that, he said, "I already did, bro," and he'd hand it right to you.
Art.
It's actually
It's even got the cigarette burns.
more of a torturous
Escargot
process doing this
burn.
art. It's like the garbage coming out of the experiences of working with these forensic
Ew.
pieces.
After Bender's initial success, skeptical officials in
He's a
Philadelphia
mediocre sculptor and a below-average person.
started to sit up and take notice. His success rate in identifying victims eventually reached 85%. Interpol and the FBI asked for his help. In one case, he was asked to age John List, a man who had
Oh,
killed
this one, to be fair, he nailed, but he already knew what he looked like.
had been on the
I
run
know
for
this one.
23
This is probably the most famous thing he's ever done.
In a sense, I sort of become the fugitive.
Oh, shut up, dude.
What he felt. And
You know, it must have been cool back in those days because it was cool to take yourself way too seriously back in the 90s. Imagine how quick this guy would be booed out of a room if he said this shit today. Back then, you could just take yourself serious and everybody be like, wow, that guy's the real deal.
trying to imagine what it would be like living this lifestyle that he lived.
Bender's bust of an aging John List was broadcast nationwide. List was captured 11 days later.
I want the lady
believes
to
that
read that.
finding the soul within his subjects is the key to his unprecedented success. And in 1990, one soul called out to him more clearly than the rest. Rosella Atkinson had disappeared without a trace. No one found her for 3 years.
It's like you're living on the edge, wondering,
Jamarcus.
where is she? Or if something happened to her. And once you find out something happened to her, you're walking around and you're still looking like you don't believe it.
At the same time, Bender was transforming the
Jamarcus.
unidentified skull of a teenage murder victim.
I feel that I could feel some of the feelings that were going through her during her life.
He's like, nowadays it's much easier. I don't even have to make the fake hair or anything. I just put a real cheap Amazon blonde wig on it. I just put a $5 Amazon blonde wig and usually it matches.
When I was working on her, I actually
Jamarcus.
felt trapped. In a sense, I guess, like
happy day!
Hi Richie. In the UK, bender is a term for a gay.
You learn something new every day. I never knew that. Thanks, RTRT.
myself and said, she's got to like want to.
Hey, is that banned by YouTube? Can I just call people benders on this? Is that banned?
Bender felt
I mean, we know, you know, that one's banned.
within the 18-year-old and instinctively sculpted her face pointing upwards. This was the face Rosella's mother saw at a museum exhibit.
We went in there and we looked.
That's like I learned in Australia. They call kid touchers rock spiders.
And we looked and it became.
I got new equipment. I don't know. I don't think it's the problem. We'll see
I
though.
don't know. Her face, all of a sudden, I just seen her in it. And I realized it was her.
The pose Frank Bender chose was remarkably similar to the pose Rosella struck in her last family portrait. This was how Rosella's mother learned she'd been murdered.
Hey, 50 cents is halfway towards a Mountain Dew.
I had a picture of
He told you that one,
the same
yeah.
pose he gave her. It would have to be something spiritual to do that. I mean, people can't just come up with.
This lady's a
something
real
like that.
bender.
You got to be gifted. I mean, spiritually gifted.
We're here to learn, John.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Continue doing your work.
I will. I felt really good. I felt like my work had served the purpose. She now had a name and could be buried with dignity.
She's at peace, and now we can pick up the pieces and go forward.
Bender has the same hopes for the remains of a young child whose
A little
decomposing
fella.
corpse was found
Oh.
near a vacant lot.
Yeah, see, he's got markers. It's not like he's just, you know, coming up with it. See those little tabs hanging off it?
Night and day for a week, trying to connect with the emotions and personality of the 5-year-old victim. This may be the best way of finding the child's killer.
Baby.
As soon as the bust was
Jamarcus.
completed, Philadelphia police put a photograph of it out on the street.
This here puts a face to our victim. It makes a
Come
person.
on, dude. That could be anybody, dude.
Out of them rather than just a, pile
I mean, you open up a yearbook, they all look exactly the same.
bones. We need to identify the child before we can find out who killed him.
Look at this boy's face. Look
Did
how
they find
warm,
him is what I want to know.
loving he was. And how many adults would love to have a child like this?
Stop groping the
now,
head, you weirdo.
This is all he is. A number.
While Frank Bender waits for someone to come forward, he returns to the disturbing world of his nightmare art. It's an outlet for the pain and anguish he feels he must absorb in order to put a human face on death. The last time the Philadelphia morgue had an unidentified child was in the 1950s. Frank Bender's
I think Tim White's a nonce.
sculpture is just one of the extraordinary measures authorities have taken to try to put a name to this young murder victim. If you have any information about this little boy, believed to be 5 years old at the time of his death in 1994, please call the Homicide Division of the Philadelphia Police Department. Police are also seeking the killer of Rosella Atkinson. If you have any information, the Philadelphia
RH did it
Police
in 1987.
When Sightings returns.
A black hole represents the most extreme possible warping of space and time.
Is this a portal to a parallel universe?
Yeah, right.
Asked about the possibility of
He even got the hair right.
alien visitation on this planet. Skeptics might argue that logistically it's just impossible. The universe is so vast that even if life did exist in a distant galaxy, it would take billions of years for them to
Space ain't even real, dude.
us. Ufologists, on the other hand, maintain that there must be a cosmic shortcut. And some suggest
Are you
that
saying you
shortcut
can get to the other side of Jupiter through Jessica Snouch?
is through a black hole.
I'd rather take the scenic route.
A black hole actually may be the entrance to a tunnel from one universe to another, what they call wormholes, worming through or
Likely story,
wriggling your way
RH.
through from one universe to another. So it's
The authorities are on their way to your house as we speak.
possible that if we ever do learn how to control and use black holes, it might be possible for us to move into other universes or into other space-time realms that we can't even imagine today.
The concept of a cosmic gateway, what scientists today call black holes, was first suggested by Einstein as part of his theory of
Told you not to look. I told you.
relativity.
Einstein was full of shit. Didn't he just rip all his shit off from a Dutch dude? And he steal all his work from some Dutch guy.
Curving of space and time. It's a very hard concept to grasp, very esoteric, but a very fundamental one because it launched modern cosmology, the discovery, the study of the evolution of the universe and how bodies
This shit's crap. It doesn't benefit anybody. It's just a bunch of guys fucking mental masturbation. You know what I mean? This fucking theoretical physics
Until
crap.
the Hubble telescope, black holes were just a theory on paper. Now, many scientists agree that
He
these
sharpens
pictures
his
prove their
bumhole.
existence.
I wouldn't doubt
But
it.
how can these bright images be called black holes?
Black holes tend to accumulate matter around them. They suck matter off a companion star or other material that's in their neighborhood. And this stuff is kind of going around in a whirlpool before it falls down into the hole. And the material gets
Prove it.
accelerated to such a high velocity that it gives off
Yeah, okay,
radiation that we can see.
And there's magical fairies and goblins and aliens and get out of here, you
X-rays and
horse
gamma
shit.
rays, or sometimes even visible radiation.
Where do black holes come from? A general theory suggests that a collapsing star
Harlem.
can become so compressed it virtually punches a hole in the universe. If this is true, then not only is matter compressed, but so is time.
A black hole represents the most
That's right,
extreme
already.
possible warping of space and time.
It's all horse shit.
So the measurement or the observation of time inside and outside the hole are radically different.
I'm just saying. Einstein was a plagiarist.
Falling into the hole would experience maybe 10 minutes going by, while somebody on the outside would see thousands of years or, in effect,
Yeah,
an
they're space
eternity go by
leprechauns.
while watching the other person fall in.
Any spacecraft entering a black hole today would be ripped apart atom by atom.
How do you know?
But if it can find a
How do
way
you know,
in,
dude?
it may open the door to time travel or even a parallel galaxy.
We may be starting to see ways of traveling in time or in space that are impossible.
Well, it's just time. Like, whenever you hear these guys talk, you know, retarded people go, wow. I think about, like, how does this benefit anybody? Like, what's the point? And it's probably fake. It's probably not even real. It's just stupid horse shit. For dumb people to go, wow, you're so smart.
Cole really tests the
But it's,
limits
you know,
of our current
it's shit you can't even
understanding about
prove.
the nature of space and time in the cosmos.
The black hole captured by the Hubble telescope is in a distant galaxy called M87. M87 is 50 million light years from Earth.
Wow, that's a
Traveling
lot of
there in
light
one
years.
of our spacecraft would be the equivalent of simply circling the
Pop
globe.
science. It's for Reddit. It's for Reddit articles.
32 billion times.
If you've had a paranormal experience, call the Sightings hotline at 1-900-933-SIGHT.
Yeah,
That's
make regular people feel small, exactly.
1-900-933-7444. Each call 65 cents a minute. Average call lasts 3 minutes. Sightings is also online.
Neil
Our
deGrasse
email
Tyson,
address
that's
is
the worst.
sightings at AOL.
It's him and that other fucking guy. What's that Asian guy? Kaku or something? What's his name? Bukaki? Bukaku. Michio Bukaku. That's it.
Next week on Sightings, Tim White encounters the Heartland ghost.
Oh, man. That's weird.
Even other bullshit artists said what's his name? Stephen Hawking was full of shit.
Well, now that's very interesting. If I sit down.
Then, these women share a terrifying memory of
Michio
alien abduction
Bukkake.
and
That's right.
schoolmates saved from certain death by
Oh, shit.
life-saving angels.
Absolutely no way that we could have made it through that without some kind of help.
Until next time,
No angel
remember,
ever saved me.
no mystery is
Where's my
closed
angel?
to an open mind. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
What, am I not good enough or something? Ichio
Next on
Bangaru.
Sci-Fi, Dark Shadows.
Oh, Dark Shadows. Get out of here, you jerks.
On this edition of Sightings, Tim White and an investigative team encounter a frightening entity.
I can tell
Hanford?
that you're losing your breath right now.
Oh, more fake cuts, guys. Here we go.
That's weird.
These women share a terrifying memory of alien
Bitch ass.
abduction. Do angels exist?
They grabbed my vulva.
Children believe they were saved by spirits from beyond.
What the aliens do? They grabbed my vulva.
Absolutely no way that we could have made without
Ugh.
some
Get out of here with that.
kind of help.
And in Colorado, a deadly mystery continues.
That corny ass shit. That bitch's head will be on t-shirts, watch. Ugh. Negative, you should make a t-shirt with her head on it. They groped my meaty vulva. Yeah. Yeah, Hawkins was full of shit since the 60s, I think.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Recently, we brought you the story of a Midwestern family that's been plagued by bizarre haunting activity. Well, from our initial investigation, the videotape that our Sightings crew brought back was unlike anything we'd ever seen before. We brought in renowned ghost investigator Al Rover
ghost
to join
update.
our team, and along with
I'm more of a ghost guy than an alien guy.
the crew, Al and I went to meet the family.
Even though I don't believe in any of them.
The family wishes to remain anonymous. We're using pseudonyms here and
Oh, it's an
concealing
update.
the father's identity.
How are the scratches that you had that we saw before? Are they healing?
Well, this is said here is scarred. The ones on my stomach are healing up pretty good.
Just 2 weeks before, these bleeding welts materialized on camera during our first sightings investigation. The tape of that event was analyzed by Carrie Gaynor, world-renowned parapsychologist who was lead investigator on both the entity and poltergeist cases.
I was hoping to avoid all that.
He asked to view the images of this bizarre event side by side.
That girl's head is stupid looking, by the way. I see that bitch's head, I'm like, ugh. What a
On the
pig.
right, a frame of video with a long bleeding welt. On the
Oh,
left,
shit.
an image taken 8 minutes earlier when our camera first began to roll. There's no welt visible.
The exciting thing for me...
They scratched my balls, and it's just a camera stuck on his balls as you see the cut show up. Now that would be funny.
Time.
They scratched my balls and pecker.
The possibility of any kind of hoax. Most of the cases we come
A
across
time-lapse camera shot on his balls and pecker.
are playful, mischievous, bizarre, weird, and a lot of them have just normal, natural explanations. This case that involves scratch marks, this seems a little more frightening and something that we should be a little more cautious about in terms of studying the phenomena.
The phenomena in this house, according to the family who lives here, are caused by Sally, the spirit of a 7-year-old child. They believe
They're
it's
in the
Sally
house?
who causes paranormal.
We're back? What happened? What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. We're an hour early. What happened? What happened? Are we back or what? You guys keep saying we're back. Are we back? See, I just got new stuff, and it's still a problem. You see, so that's one step down. Are we back? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for confirmation that we're back. You guys said we're back like 3 times. All right, I'm gonna take your word for it.
Activity, like lights flickering on and off mysteriously, as seen in this home video.
On the left side.
Family photos have turned up with unusual blurring and discoloration, confounding our photo experts.
A black hole got me, guys.
During our initial investigation, paranormal researcher Howard Heim felt and recorded strange sensations of cold and electromagnetism.
It's chilly. I can feel the chilliness.
Actually feel like a small circumference about 4 inches in diameter coming straight down.
Sightings camera operator Phil Lapkin was startled when an intense charge of static around him.
Dog looks good.
Our audio
I don't know. You might have to fight someone for that hot dog.
Was able to record a snapping sound along the floor and around his legs. On our return to the house, we asked ghost investigator Al Rober to gather additional hard data at the site. His equipment can monitor electromagnetic energy and minute temperature fluctuations. He photographed and examined items that were supposedly touched
It's going in and out.
and in some cases burned by the entity.
There's a chemical that's built on this.
Tim?
Yeah.
I would assume from that, Greg, that you are feeling, well...
Like I said, it's actually a little earlier. Anytime after 8, man, is when like it goes to shit.
Something. Air conditioner's off. I feel it blowing right through here.
Well,
I can feel the chilliness.
I'm going to move over here and see if I can feel the same thing, though.
Now we're
So someone scratched into my stomach, Haktua.
A window and an air conditioner that's off.
Right.
All right, I definitely can feel a sense of some air moving there. Yeah. Let's sit back down and talk, especially
As we
Yeah, but now you guys are like 10 minutes
videotaping,
behind.
I was not the only member of the sightings crew who seemed to feel a strange sensation of cold air circulating in small, isolated patches. It happened again and again.
Oh, man. That's weird.
If it's working good, you might want to refresh because you're probably like 10 minutes behind. I don't know if that helps, but
Hair on your arms. He's standing up. Right here.
I can see the hair over in this area here.
you can see it.
Right here.
down behind you, too.
In and of itself, the sensation of cold and static electricity was intriguing, but not proof of the existence of Sally. However, the sensations some were feeling more strongly than others were usually followed by physical harm to Jeff.
Oh, no.
More.
Oh, well, now that's very interesting.
Would it be okay if I sit down for a second?
Why don't you sit down? I can tell that you're losing your breath right now.
Sally.
More cuts. This guy just likes to cut himself.
Sally, we see you. We know you're here.
Whoever or whatever was responsible for these painful scratches struck repeatedly throughout the day. At one point, new welts began to form on Jeff's stomach.
Oh, no.
Then, I was shocked to see mysterious welts forming on his forehead.
Dude, this guy just got a razor hidden.
This whole spirit thing scares me, and it just, some of the things she's lit fires.
This guy just has a razor in his pocket.
You know, I think, well, if she wants to hurt me, why couldn't she just light me on fire or whatever she does to some of the other things?
Why are you editing their heads now? You didn't last time.
Here, but yeah, this is as far as she goes.
Al, are you saying that virtually everything that you've
This is
seen
everyday common man Tim White. Tim White on the street.
today could be explained through psychokinesis or some sort of projection?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Understanding his feelings here and his intense fear. He's very frightened and uncomfortable being thrust into this environment. That's not to say that there isn't...
Maybe that's why Hogan was so far behind.
In cases when you do have a poltergeist, they seem to draw off the same energies.
What would your advice be to the couple living here?
One of the things I would tell them would be to try to
To
document...
send me nude pictures of themselves. Frequently.
Some more of this. Another thing that I would do, I would certainly recommend them to get rid of the toys in the corner and get rid of any encouragement that is now going on for this little girl ghost.
Whether the source of this bizarre activity lies within Jeff or in an outside entity who craves attention, the
Or
result
put it on 2x speed. That might help. Until
is
it catches
still
up.
unexplainable. What type of energy could create the frightening, diverse phenomena occurring here? Being on site, observing the ghostly activity as it happens, has been a disturbing experience. It's clear that this case merits continued investigation.
And whatever comes of it, we will try and pursue it as openly and honestly as we can here
This guy
on
is gone.
Sightings, and we will share it with you.
Thanks, Tim.
We'll be back with more Sightings in a moment.
Next, two women share a terrifying memory of abduction by extraterrestrials.
First memory I had was screaming because I had alien eyes right in front of my face.
There's some truckers' balls. Hanging balls. It wasn't alien eyes. It was trucker testicles.
You meet a stranger, and something about them is familiar. You know each other from somewhere, you just can't figure out where. When that happened to two women in Virginia, they racked their brains for more than a year and finally came up with an unsettling answer. They believe that, as children, they shared an alien abduction experience.
It's true.
At first, they were fragments of memory.
As a child, Claire Holcomb had pastoral visions.
Holcomb?
Sometimes they were strange. Sometimes they were disturbing. And later on, they became terrifying. She never knew what
He's a
it meant
deathmatch wrestler?
until
You
she
know
was
he
an
is.
adult.
He just cuts himself all the time.
In 1987, Claire was looking for
He goes in the other room and the camera catches him just smashing those fucking tube light bulbs on his dome.
Career change. She responded to an ad for full-time help on a horse farm. Her interview with rancher Diana Graves was a turning point.
It was sort of, I know this person. And she was very comfortable around the horses.
In the sky, I thought
No way to catch up.
low-flying aircraft. But I wasn't hearing any sounds, engine noises, and was concerned that perhaps the engines had shut down. I pulled over to the side of the road and was blinded by these lights. But I was frozen.
Hogan hated young couples. When does a young couple stop being a young couple?
To the spot, I didn't know what was happening.
Where's the cutoff?
Right after her sighting, Claire raced home, feeling
28, 29?
sick, scared, and disoriented.
I think both of us thought she was going crazy. Too much stress that, you know, maybe she'd had a blackout. We couldn't explain the missing time. We didn't know what it was at the time.
The first thing that I noticed from that first experience was that my contact lenses appeared to be missing from my eyes.
What?
And I certainly had them in.
It took your
when I
contacts?
was driving.
Diana encouraged Claire to try and put the bizarre events behind her. But days later, Claire had another bizarre encounter.
She was reporting to me that she seemed to have seen some strange things. She had memories of this weird hand that she drew. And for some reason, I knew we needed help. I knew I could no longer handle it.
They got that help through the
Look at
Fund
that.
for UFO Research, an organization that investigates extraterrestrial events and tries to separate fact from fantasy. They felt Claire was exhibiting...
Can we just say how uncreative these people are? The aliens always look the same. I want different aliens.
And many of the things she said, while not completely unique, were disturbing things that I had read about before, and I had no reason to think that she was making the thing up or that it was being fabricated in any way.
It was startling.
I have no idea, dude. Like I said, I've tried everything.
To us that anybody could possibly have experienced these
I don't
things.
get it. Like this stream will work good for years, and then like it'll be like a 2-month thing where it just fucking sucks and sucks. And right when I'm about ready to fucking go somewhere else, it starts working again.
We've never heard about
this. Happened like 5 times.
Syndrome is essentially this pattern that you do get from collecting data from a large number of people, and it has all of these common features. The fundamental one being missing time. Then there are others, the markings, the very strange medical problems that they often develop.
Along with Claire's help
that's not YouTube. It's on my end again.
Problems, Diana noticed that her employee was also seeing some health benefits. Claire's eyesight dramatically improved after her first abduction. Strangely, Diana's health started following the same course.
My eyes had improved dramatically, and I could think of no other rational explanation why my eyesight was also improving, unless I too was being abducted.
Diana wanted to know more.
What happens is my upload speed tanks. I'm looking at it right now, tanking. Man, I need to fucking get my money back from these fuckers, because I'm supposed to get, normally I get like an upload speed, like, what is it? I don't know, whatever it is way higher than this. It's way higher than fucking 0 or 800 KB a second. It just tanks. It tanks after 8 o'clock. That must be when everyone gets home and starts fucking nailing it.
And chose
it's just
hypnotherapy
horrible.
as a way to retrieve her abduction memories. Her first session was traumatic.
And sure enough, the first memory I had...
Like, I'm not
was
getting what I'm
screaming
paying for.
Because I had alien eyes right in front of my face, and I couldn't get away from
Alien balls.
What are they doing to you? What are they
They're
doing
touching
to
my
you?
wiener. My vulva.
You're okay.
The way the events occur, I'm very convinced that she has experienced
something, and what seems to be happening seems to be really, truly happening to her. She has the marks on her body.
Under hypnosis, Claire.
It's got to be a competency crisis thing.
Also recalling vivid memories.
Because I've done this stream for years and years and years, and just the last year, all the problems I've had has been insane.
Torture, experimentation.
I did this. I was doing these streams in like fucking 2012, 2013 with no fucking problems. None. All the way up until like 2000. Oh shit, last year. Last year. Well, now it's always a problem.
Bitter cold. As is often the case, I was abducted from my bedroom. I had a nightgown on with no shoes, naturally. I didn't sleep in my shoes. And when I was brought back, they made a mistake, which they do. And instead of putting me back in the house, they left me outside. When I thought I was going to die, the aliens came back.
You got to mix it up, RT. So unless you get throw some midget porn in there.
Me back in the house, in my bedroom. But the next morning, all the skin on the bottom of my feet had been burned off from sticking to the ice.
It's just there's tons of new people living on our road now, and I think that's fucking.
I'll have
it's killing it.
a little bit of a memory of actually seeing a gray standing beside my bed at night, or being poked in the back. I'll have a memory of seeing either a blue or an orange light fill my room.
The women could not escape the relentless fear that accompanied their abduction experiences. They sought help from world-renowned abduction expert Bud Hopkins.
They were extremely...
Well, I know that. They'll just give you like a free month or something instead of giving your money back.
Articulate.
50% off next month.
Obviously filled with a lot of emotion about their experiences.
Don't do it! Why didn't you read it? Read it, Bill.
Here's a $5 for you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if the money is no longer valid currency when you get it.
It's the thought that counts.
And I was just extremely impressed with him.
While discussing pairing their separate abduction memories, Claire and Diana made
they gave you $600 back.
We were both in a large room.
I might just pester them.
Scenes were being projected, very disturbing.
Look, and it's not like I'm being fucking unreasonable here. I know there's tons of people that use this shit at this time, but it's like, what is it like? What do you call it? It's like 11. I don't know terms. All right. It's 11 megabytes a second, I think, is what it's supposed to be. But that would be fine if it was like 4. Like I just need 4. but I don't even get 1. I'm getting like 700 KB a second. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even getting 10% of my upload speed that I'm paying for. Like just give me 40%, I'd be fine. I'd be better than fine, but I can't even get that.
Devastation.
I'm not being greedy. Just give me 40 fucking %.
And to learn from it and to understand that these things were happening. We were in fact holding each other's hand.
Well, the issue of shared abductions is something we should sort out here.
They know what dark means now.
Many people are abducted with other abductees.
The women probed deeper into their past. Claire recalled a childhood abduction memory that she had shared with a little girl visiting from England.
When I was about 12 years old and had been on a picnic with some friends from school, I moved off by myself to sit on a bench. For some reason, I saw a little girl coming toward me and I didn't at the time recognize, and she was wearing a blue uniform. She had some kind of an accent that I thought might be British. Without stopping to think or discuss why
alien
we were doing
adventures.
this, we both meandered away from the picnic area.
Man, it's just 0 now. It's just 0, and it's staying on 0, and then it'll go to... This is fucking ridiculous.
Into the woods, and were subsequently abducted from
Subsequently?
together.
The girl she was
I like retards on YouTube say subsequently. You ever hear that?
describing sounded like me when I was about the same age. And when Claire described to me what this other little English girl was wearing, I then went to the closet and pulled out a jacket that exactly matched her description.
Oh. She described to me how she used to dress going to school in England at that time, and I didn't know she'd attended school in England when she was 9 years old.
I was that other child.
We found a pattern that they had been abducted since childhood, separately, brought together, and made to interact as if the aliens were interested in human relationships.
I think it might be fixed now. Because it's way up there now.
I'm completely convinced that they
Oh, nope, it's zero again. It went up to like
since they started, since we were such
it went up a whole
I
bunch.
think it's amazing that we met again.
It went to 10,000 down to zero.
In this life, in this world. Although I can't explain it.
Her coming to this farm 5 years ago was a coincidence. They arranged it. They planned it. I don't know why they planned it. I'm glad we met.
That's what I'm saying. You guys are like 10 minutes behind now. This is awful. You guys are 10 minutes behind, like literally 10 minutes behind.
Issue of alien abduction has come under fire lately from mental health professionals who believe abductees are being manipulated through directed therapy and hypnosis. But the number of people who claim an abduction experience is growing, and they're not all going to the same therapists. National statistics indicate that as many as 2 million Americans may have had experiences consistent with an
Now, I'm talking about upload speed, though. Upload speed's different.
An abduction.
Upload speed is a lot less than your download speed.
Documenting a rare encounter.
I gotta look because I can't do this, man. The only reason I have the internet is for this
Angels
stream.
rescued children from the clutches of a madman.
The most recent Roper poll suggests that a staggering 96% of all Americans have heard or read about the existence of UFOs. And as our awareness grows, so do reported sightings. Many viewers have written to ask what they should do in the event of a UFO sighting. For the answer, we went right to the experts. The number of UFO sightings has grown dramatically in the past 50 years, and so has the number of people actively searching the skies. Every night, thousands of people turn their attention to the heavens, hoping for a glimpse of what
This is
might
terrible.
be a
This,
UFO.
this is no way to live, gosh darn it.
Unfortunately, most of these sightings
I
are
hate
just
having to look at numbers, too. Like, I'm sitting here staring at, like, I can't concentrate on what I'm watching because I'm sitting here watching the fucking upload speed. It's annoying. Like, it's at 0 right now. It's at fucking 0. This should never be at fucking 0.
wishful thinking.
I can't focus on what I'm trying to watch.
And have explained, not explaining away.
I want to make fun of William Pitts, but instead I'm staring at fucking numbers.
Explain good 70, 75%, maybe even 80%.
Bill Pitts heads a consortium of former military personnel who evaluate UFO sightings. The group, the new Project Blue Book, takes its name from the famed government UFO
the
study,
Blue Book.
but there the similarity ends.
The purpose of Project Blue Book is to reevaluate the classic cases, which we've been doing, and also
They're not hillbillies. They're demons.
even look at new cases as they come along that really come to our attention and we get excited over, and we have had several of those.
I'm the only person using the internet in the house right now. There's nothing else going on. No one's watching anything. No one's. You know what I mean?
To do if you saw a UFO.
It's just me right now on the
new
internet,
Project
and it's,
Blue
and
Book
it's still
offers these
crapping out.
guidelines for documenting your sighting.
Watch closely the object you're observing and try to remember as much as you can about that object. Check to see if there are any noises that seem to be emanating from the particular object. Write it down as soon as you can, and remembering what it looked like to you initially, any changes made during the observation. See also if it seems to be going along at a straight trajectory, if it's zigzagging or any type of emotion up or down, sideways or otherwise.
Yeah, and it's like but I knew that wasn't the problem.
Pinpoint the time as closely as possible that while you're observing the object or light source. If you have a camera or camcorder available, take as many shots as possible and footage as possible of the object. Being careful with a camcorder or camera if it's
I just want to stream my fucking sightings.
Picture camera especially.
That's it.
Don't pan the object so fast that you're losing the object. You should notify your local police department.
Look, someone
or your
filmed some
sheriff's
planes.
department, or and if they don't have any record of somebody else making a sighting report to them, then check with your FAA control tower operators for someone else to turn it into, or send it to us at Project Blue Book.
Why is the new Project Blue Book so interested in evaluating new sightings?
Because Hanford.
I think it would be a wonderful thing to find something extraterrestrial visiting our shores and meeting with us. I don't know it'll ever happen in our lifetime, if ever, for that matter. Maybe we have to go there to meet them on their grounds.
Biggles is streaming?
And here's one more tip from the new Project Blue Book. If you sight what you believe to be a UFO and you have a video camera at the ready, remember that most camcorders have a built-in
get on the
microphone.
comment.
So while you're videotaping, record a running description of events as you see them. After the event, interview any other witnesses and, if possible, get their full names and addresses.
When Sightings continues,
Oh,
schoolmates
are we going to
rescued
Casper?
from the brink of death by otherworldly forces.
She had been sent to help me. She was my guardian angel.
Then, a bizarre mystery continues, and later, new evidence that mythological creatures are real.
That's right.
It was a parent's worst nightmare. In 1987, a madman in Cokeville, Wyoming, took children hostage, then detonated a bomb in an elementary school classroom. Miraculously, none of the children died. Since then, books and movies have recounted the amazing story of the Cokeville bomb and speculated about why the children were spared. But now, for the first time, the children themselves speak out about how they believe they were saved. Their stories have a common thread: the presence of angels.
Whoa.
Cokeville, Wyoming, population 493. They say it's like no place on earth, and that was true. Then on the day local children believe angels came to school.
Angels in Wyoming?
Around 11 a.m., when David and Doris Young, armed with guns and a bomb, took the entire school hostage.
I said to them, "Is there something I could do to help you, sir?"
And he said, you could slut it up a little bit, Christine.
He said, "Yes, ma'am, there certainly is. This is a revolution. Your school's being taken hostage.
Oh, shit!
Consider yourself a hostage." If you'd looked in David Young's eyes, you knew it was no joke. I've never, ever looked in anyone's eyes that were so cold and so emotionless. I mean, there was like this big void. There was nothing there.
David Young was a walking arsenal. In addition
Whoa,
to
we had
automatic
4
rifles,
guns, a walking arsenal, guys. He
his
had not
body
1,
was
not
wired
2,
to a
not 3,
bomb
but 4
that could be
guns.
detonated with a wave of his hand.
He said the bomb was capable of blowing up the entire building. He said it will level this whole building.
He's
and
full of
everything.
shit.
The hardest part of the whole thing was that I started out in this thing alone, and I couldn't warn anyone.
With a gun to her back, Mrs. Cook was forced to lead David and Doris Young
Oh,
to the
no.
school's first-grade classroom. David Young made this his command center and forced all 153 teachers and students of the Cokeville Elementary School into the small room.
No!
He then demanded $2 million ransom for each hostage.
$2 million, righteous bucks.
This is a revolution. I'm holding you hostage. And one of the girls in my class just went hysterical.
Young gave
She's
each
related to that girl Cobes wanted.
teacher a copy of a bizarre manifesto outlining his apocalyptic plan for the children of Cokeville.
He said,
Well, it does happen
God
every day
equals
around 8.
infinity, Infinity equals 0, therefore God does not exist.
David Young was insane, incoherent, and unreasonable. He was a human bomb with a hair trigger.
Oh,
The ultimate plan was he was going to, after he got the money, blow the building, the children, the adults, himself and his wife, everything. He was going to blow it all up and take us to this place that he referred to as the Brave New World.
While the local police, sheriffs, and the FBI were outside, inside the sense of panic was escalating.
We had children sick to their stomach, crying, you know, and asking their teachers, "Why can't we go home? I want to go home."
Young grew more agitated. He taped off an
What an
area
angry
in the
little
middle
dude.
of the room where only he and Doris could sit. If anyone else stepped inside his square, he said he would detonate the bomb.
Hey, that's like a sitcom. Everyone steps foot inside my square.
Strangely, with the Youngs inside the square, the children felt safer.
There's no square.
This total peace and this comforting feeling just touched everybody.
It was just a feeling just to be relaxed and not to worry that you'll make it through it.
I guess you could explain it as peace. Always, you know, that nothing could happen to us.
The peace was fleeting. Without warning, the bomb went off.
The room was almost instantaneous black. And we had teachers over there that were grabbing kids, trying to get them out through the classroom windows.
That guy was a real
This lady
butthole.
grabbed my hand and she pushed me out the window. And I don't know if I would have made it out because I was too afraid to move.
All right, guys, I have to get out of here after this episode. It's too bad. It's way too bad. It's just staying at 0. I'm tired of I'm tired. I'm tired of complaining about this.
That was
It sounds like a fucking broken
a
record.
frightening experience. Not knowing how many left, if any, of my classmates.
Miraculously, the only 2 people who died that day were David and Doris Young.
No, not
Everyone
Doris!
outside the so-called Magic Square survived.
I heard Mr. Moore and a whole bunch of people would start yelling, you know, we're all here, we all counted, we're all here, and that's when everybody in the town just started yelling. Everybody was there, and it was a great moment. Even though
It was
we
an
were sad,
angel.
Kids were burned, kids were hurt. We were very happy we were all alive.
And I could see my youngest daughter, Katie, sitting on the ground. I went to her and I embraced her, and she, at that point, stood and told me, Mommy, the angel saved us. In the chaos and everything that was happening, I think that maybe I didn't take her literally.
Katie wasn't the only child in this room. As the town struggled to recover from their shared trauma, other children began quietly admitting that they'd been helped by angels too.
I just kind of looked out.
It's not all Lemons. It's like a half and half.
And I saw this woman, and she told me that to listen to my
But
brother.
the Lemons rent. The Richies own.
And everything would be okay. And I looked up again, and she wasn't there anymore. And then my brother came over, and he told me to stay by the window, and everything would be okay. And he walked back across the room, and that's when the bomb went off.
A few weeks later, her angel again, she gazed out at Katie from her mother's locket.
Was that Beals?
My mother had passed away when I was 15 and a half years old. And I had very few pictures of her. As soon as I opened the locket, she became so excited, and she...
These stories are horseshit. How come angels don't save other kids? I mean, it just seems unfair, right? Well, the angel went out of their way to save us. What about those kids? Well, fuck those kids, I guess.
looked at this woman in this locket
Fuck those kids.
and said, that's who she is. That's the woman that helped me. She described this woman down to her hair, where she was standing in the room. Everything about this woman. As if
Tina
she'd known
Yothers.
her all her life.
The woman in the locket was
Angels
Katie's maternal
would never say Tina Yothers.
mother, whom the child had never seen. She'd been dead for more than 13 years.
When I saw the photo, they told me that she died, and I came to realization that she had been sent to help me, and that she was my guardian angel.
In the days that followed, trauma counselors heard from many children who had seen their own guardian angel.
Tina Yothers has a very successful OnlyFans now.
But not every parent believed what their children were telling them.
I did not want my own
Is it just totally shutting down now?
going around saying
Because like these aren't even high definition videos. So I can't even download these.
that he saw an angel.
Ron Hartley had 4 children inside Cokeville Elementary when the bomb went off, but he was also the police detective in charge of the investigation. When his own son, Nathan, insisted that he had seen an angel, Hartley tried to be a cop first and a dad second.
I just interviewed and interrogated my son. He said that he was sitting there and all of a sudden these angels came down through the ceiling, and one of them came up to him and just basically said, Nathan, I'm your great-grandmother, and what David and Doris are doing
At 8, it just grinds to a halt.
is wrong. And that the bomb's gonna go off.
Oh no!
And I says, what was her name, Nathan? And he says, I think it was Grandma Meister. Well, I thought I had something there because that I could use to straighten him out.
Section 8.
His grandmother Meister was still alive. So I resorted back to another cop technique, which is bring out the mugshots.
Well, we'll save those kids, I guess.
Through it, and all of a sudden there's a picture of both his grandmothers sitting there. And he just immediately put his little hand on the page so I couldn't turn it. He says, "That's her." He says, "That's my guardian angel." He pointed to my Grandma Elliot, who was sitting right next to Grandma Meister.
Grandma Meister? The Grandma Meister saved the kids.
Nathan, I says, "Why didn't you tell us this before?" And he's just looked at me and he says, "Dad, you wouldn't believe me."
Whether or not there were angels in the room that day.
It's on auto, and it's literally playing the video at 144. Like, it can't even play it.
Some unseen force